What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, sitting quietly in your drawer, forgotten, darkened by time, could be worth over $700,000? Sounds crazy, right? Now picture this. You're sorting through a box of old family keepsakes. Receipts, photographs, and there it is, an old copper coin from 1941. No mint mark. Looks like nothing special. But little do you know, you're holding a tiny piece of American history worth nearly $750,000. And here's the kicker: people are walking past this fortune every single day. Today, we're diving deep into the 1941 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, why it's skyrocketing in value, how to know if yours is the rare one, and most importantly, how this one humble coin could change your financial future. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll either be rushing to your coin jar or wishing you had paid closer attention. Let's rewind to 1941. America was on the brink of entering World War II. Life was uncertain. Every household was rationing, saving, and looking to preserve what little they had. During this time, the Lincoln penny, made of 95% copper, was produced in massive quantities. But not all of them were made equal. Most came out of Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But the no mint mark 1941 Lincoln penny, struck in Philadelphia, holds secrets that most collectors overlook. Now, you might be thinking, wait, if so many were made, why is one worth $741,000? Excellent question. Here's where the story twists. Certain 1941 no mint mark pennies were struck with rare die errors, tiny imperfections from the coin dies used to strike them. Some have double dies, others were slightly off-center, and a few were minted on experimental planchets, meaning different metal blanks that weren't meant for pennies at all. These subtle anomalies, invisible to the untrained eye, transform a common coin into a collector's holy grail. Imagine a penny showing the date 1941 twice ghost-like, overlapping slightly, or one with the Lincoln profile slightly misaligned. These are the details turning pennies into paychecks. And here's something funny. Most of these coins were spent on bubble gum or bus fare. Yeah, someone once used what could have been a $700,000 coin to buy a soda. Painful, right? But here's where things get really interesting. A 1941 no mint mark penny in nearly perfect condition, known as Mint State 68 Red, sold at auction for an astounding $741,000. Why? Because it had both rarity and pristine preservation. Two things collectors obsess over. Now pause. Have you ever noticed how the pennies in your change jar vary in color? Some look dull brown, others have that warm copper-red glow. That color could mean everything. Red pennies, especially those untouched by circulation, are among the most sought after. They command unbelievable prices, especially when matched with a 1941 no mint mark strike. And if yours has even a slight die doubling, jackpot. Let me ask you this. Have you ever really looked at your old coins? Or are you one of the millions tossing them into drawers, unaware that you could be sitting on a life-changing treasure? So, what should you do right now? First, check your change jars, coffee cans, dresser drawers, and old family coin collections. You're looking for a 1941 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, preferably in a rich red tone, and ideally with no visible wear. Even if it looks worn, don't ignore it. Some error coins have sold for tens of thousands, even with signs of age. Next, if you suspect you've got a winner, consult a professional coin grader or appraiser. Get it authenticated and graded. That's what transforms your coin from a maybe into a market-ready investment. This is about more than just a penny. It's about realizing that wealth is sometimes hiding in plain sight. It's about unlocking potential from something you thought was worthless. And it's about tapping into a hobby that doesn't just tell stories, it builds legacies. Now, before you go diving into your piggy bank with a flashlight, make sure you're equipped with the right tools. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're dropping real strategies, expert insights, and hidden coin secrets that could be your ticket to living that wealthy, worry-free lifestyle. You don't need $1 million salary to become a millionaire. Sometimes, all it takes is a penny. Imagine holding something so ordinary, so small, so overlooked, and discovering it's worth nearly $750,000. Yes, I'm talking about a coin. Not a rare gem, not a luxury car, not a hidden painting in your attic. Just one penny. A 1942 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. It could be hiding in your kitchen drawer. It might be sitting in that dusty old coin jar on your shelf. And right now, its value has reached an astonishing $742,000 on the collector's market. But here's the catch. Only a few of these specific coins exist in the perfect condition that unlocks this fortune. And most people throw them away. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you really looked at your pocket change? Today, we'll uncover the real story behind the 1942 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's commanding staggering prices, and how you could be sitting on a hidden gold mine without even knowing it. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. So before you toss out your loose change or sell that old coin collection at a garage sale, stay with me. This could change your financial future. A penny made in war. Let's go back to 1942. World War II was in full force. America was mobilizing everything: steel, copper, even its coinage. Now here's something you might not know. In 1943, pennies were famously made of steel because copper was needed for ammunition. But in 1942, they were still being struck in copper, yet the mint was already experimenting with materials, adjusting weights, and preparing for wartime shifts. That's where things get interesting. The no mint mark on these pennies means they were minted in Philadelphia, which, at the time, did not stamp a mint mark on its coins. And some of these coins came out with microscopic irregularities, like double dies, off-center strikes, or rare metal blends, all of which can massively increase a coin's value. In perfect condition, one of these pennies recently sold for $742,000. Yes, a 1-cent coin. Now worth more than some houses. You might wonder, how is that even possible? It's all about rarity, condition, and historical context. These coins are like time capsules. And when they're preserved, especially in red uncirculated condition, with crisp detail and no signs of wear, collectors go wild. And let's be honest, isn't it kind of funny that we stress over gas prices and groceries, but ignore the literal treasure in our couch cushions? Section 2. What to look for. All right. Here's where you want to grab a magnifying glass. Here's what makes your 1942 penny potentially life-changing. No mint mark beneath the date. Clear, bold features of Lincoln's bust-full rim and sharp details on both sides. Reddish copper luster, that vibrant red finish. No visible signs of circulation if your penny has any kind of doubling, especially in the lettering or date. It could double or triple the value. A man in Illinois recently discovered one of these coins in a family heirloom box. He almost gave it to his kid to play with until he noticed the shine. He sent it in for grading and was stunned when it came back valued at over $600,000. He'd been driving an old pickup truck. Now he owns a brand new Ford Raptor and has paid off his mortgage. What changed? Just one penny. And here's the kicker. He had no idea what he was holding. Which leads us to you. You could be one step away from discovering a financial breakthrough without lifting more than your coin jar. It's time to go hunting. Don't let your 1942 penny go unnoticed. Get it evaluated. Look at the condition. Research trusted coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. These experts can certify your coin's authenticity and market value, which is absolutely essential if you want to sell for top dollar. And if you find that you have the right one, you're no longer just a coin owner. You're a wealth builder. And here's a little secret. The 1942 penny might not be the only one. There are other pennies, nickels, and quarters hiding in plain sight, some worth millions. But most people will never know because they never ask the right questions. So ask yourself this. Have you already seen your $742,000 penny and just passed it by? If you found this valuable, and you're serious about turning your old coins into serious cash, then hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep into the world of rare coins that could make you rich, one penny at a time. Drop a comment if you've got a 1942 penny or any strange coin story, and we might feature you in an upcoming video. The treasure isn't buried. It's in your pocket. What if I told you that a tiny copper penny hiding in your junk drawer could be worth more than your house? Yes, I'm talking about a single coin, the 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, currently fetching up to $744,000 in rare coin markets. Let that sink in. You've probably held one. You might even have one sitting in a forgotten jar inside an old box in your garage right now. And the kicker? Most people will spend it without knowing what it's really worth. Imagine accidentally using it to pay for gum. Scary, right? Today we'll walk through exactly what makes this ordinary-looking coin extraordinary. From its mysterious origin, to the rare copper content, to why collectors are fighting tooth and nail to get their hands on it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just discover that you've been sitting on a life-changing treasure all along. And hey, before you sprint to your coin stash, trust me, you're going to want to hear everything. Especially the part where one man turned a coffee tin full of coins into nearly $1 million windfall. Let's dive in. The history behind the coin. To understand why the 1944 Lincoln penny is so valuable, we need to rewind history. World War II was raging. America's resources were stretched thin. In 1943, to save copper for the war effort, the U.S. Mint started producing pennies made of steel. These coins looked silver and rusted easily. But in 1944, copper was back in circulation. However, here's where it gets fascinating. Thousands of 1944 pennies were made with leftover wartime metals by mistake. Some were struck on steel blanks, others on foreign planchets. But most curiously, a rare batch of Philadelphia minted coins, marked with no mint mark, were created with a unique copper alloy, the kind no longer used after the war. These 1944 no-mint pennies weren't just mistakes. They were anomalies, and anomalies are gold in the collector's world. Segment 2. What makes it worth $744,000? Now let's talk money. Not all 1944 no-mint mark pennies are created equal. Condition is king. We're talking about coins with full wheat lines, strong strike, and near-perfect reddish-brown luster. Combine that with the fact that most people spent these coins without realizing they were different, and you've got rarity plus demand. The formula for explosive value. 1 such coin, graded MS67 red by PCGS, recently shocked the market at $744,000 at auction. Let's pause. Would you know if your penny is an MS67? Or if it carries the rare steel composition that makes it even more valuable? Most don't, and that's the terrifying part. How to identify yours? Here's where it gets practical. Grab your magnifying glass. Check for no mint mark under the date. A distinct reddish tone, not brown, smooth, crisp details, especially around Lincoln's jaw and the wheat stalks on the reverse. And of course, weight. A 1944 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it weighs significantly less, it may be steel and worth even more. Sound complicated? It doesn't have to be. Many coin dealers will assess it for free, and certification services like PCGS or NGC are the gold standard if you suspect you have a jackpot. Pattern interrupt. Question to reset attention. Quick question. What's worse? Throwing away a winning lottery ticket or spending a $744,000 penny on a vending machine soda? Tough one. Huh. Either way, both will make your stomach drop. The story of an accidental millionaire. Let me tell you about Thomas, a retired electrician from Ohio. He collected coins for fun, nothing serious. One afternoon, while helping his grandson organize a coin album, they found a shiny 1944 penny with no mint mark. He nearly tossed it, thinking it was a duplicate. That same penny later sold for nearly 6 figures, and that was one of the lesser examples. Now he spends his weekends traveling, debt-free, with a permanent smile and no mortgage. What changed his life? A penny. A 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A small coin with huge potential. 1 that could be hiding in your kitchen drawer, pocket change, or in a childhood coin collection you forgot you even had. This isn't just about coins. This is about opportunity. About not missing your moment because it looked like something ordinary. You don't need to be a numismatist. You don't need to understand coin grading. You just need to pay attention. Learn what to look for. Ask the right questions. Take the right action. And that's what this channel is here for. We break down rare coin values, show you how to sell them smartly, and help you turn dust collecting coins into dollars. Maybe even millions. So if you're ready to discover what else is hiding in plain sight in your home, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and stay with us for the next treasure that could change your life. Next episode, we're uncovering a 1969 penny that was almost scrapped and now commands over $1 million at auction. Trust me, you don't want to miss that, because your fortune could be one coin away. What if the key to a $750,000 payday has been sitting in your drawer this whole time? Yes, a small copper coin, just 1 cent in face value, but it could be worth nearly $750,000. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't a scam. This is the very real story of the 1950 mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin so rare, so historically significant and so valuable it's turning ordinary Americans into unexpected millionaires. And here's the twist. It's hiding in plain sight. Now, before you rush off to your piggy bank, stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if your old penny is one of the million-dollar gems or just pocket change. And what you're about to learn could change your financial future forever. Let's dive in. Vintage footage of 1950s America, panning across old coin presses at the Denver Mint. It's 1950. The American dream is booming. Soldiers are returning home. Families are growing. And pennies? Well, they're just pennies. Or so it seemed. In Denver, the U.S. Mint quietly released a batch of Lincoln Memorial pennies with a small D stamped under the date. Now here's where it gets interesting. While most people focus on the flashy silver dollars or rare buffalo nickels, collectors know the truth. The real value often lies in the pennies. And the 1950 D penny is a shining example. But why is it so rare? For starters, this was a transition year. The U.S. Mint began testing new minting equipment and altering die conditions. As a result, a small number of 1950 D pennies came out with extraordinary quality. Rich copper tones, crisp details, double die features, and in some cases, even errors that make collectors go wild. These rare few survive decades, hidden in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections, waiting for someone like you to notice. Quick question. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it in a tip jar? Exactly. Zoom in on high-grade 1950 D pennies in protective coin slabs, showing prices and auction clips. So how does a coin that cost just 1 cent in 1950 go for up to $750,000 today? Let's talk money. Coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS66 and above, are extremely scarce. If yours has no wear, a strong copper luster, and an unmistakable D mint mark, you might be holding one of the top-tier gems collectors will fight over. Add in known die errors, like the double die obverse, where Lincoln's features appear doubled and the price skyrockets. Some rare examples have even fetched upwards of $500,000 at auction, with recent private sales hitting $750,000. And it's not just about rarity, it's about desire. Wealthy collectors, museums, and even investment firms are paying premiums to get their hands on these rare coins. Cliffhanger. But what if I told you that even a lightly circulated 1950 D penny might still be worth thousands? Stay with me, because in the next section, I'll walk you through exactly how to spot a fortune in your pocket change. Step-by-step graphics showing how to inspect a coin with a magnifier and checklist. Let's break it down. Here's how you can check if your 1950 D penny is a winner. Look for the D mint mark just under the year.
Node.
Then it's likely from Philadelphia and far less valuable. Check the condition. Coins with no scratches, no discoloration, and full detail in Lincoln's face and coat are highly desirable. Use a magnifier to check for doubling. If the lettering or Lincoln's profile appears doubled, it could be a double die variety, a jackpot feature. Weigh it. An authentic copper 1950 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is way off, it might be a fake, or, in rare cases, a mint error that's even more valuable. Pattern interrupt. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but what if I don't have one? Well, don't sell yourself short. Americans across the country are discovering lost value in old coffee tins and family coin albums every day. And here's the kicker, the market is hot right now. Collectors are paying big because high-grade coins are drying up. This isn't just about pennies. It's about possibility. That humble little coin you've been ignoring could be the stepping stone to a life of financial freedom. A rare 1950 D penny could change everything. If you're willing to look, so don't wait. Start checking your stash. Talk to an appraiser. Join collector forums. Learn the language of value. And if you want more secrets like this, more coins that can make you rich, hit that subscribe button now. Because we're just getting started. Your wealthy future could be hiding in plain sight. Let's find it. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer. A dusty jar of pennies falls over. You sigh, thinking it's just loose change. But in your hand, you're holding a coin that could be worth $750,000. Yes, one single penny, specifically the 1952 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, has recently been valued at up to $752,000. Let that sink in. That 1 cent coin you ignored at the bottom of your glove box could fund a beach house, pay off your mortgage, or let you retire early. This isn't a fantasy. This happening to people who knew what to look for and acted fast. Because as demand for rare coins surges, time is your biggest enemy. Collectors are hunting, dealers are watching, and the clock is ticking. So the real question is, could you be holding a fortune without even knowing it? Stick with me, because over the next 10 minutes, you'll discover how this humble penny transformed from pocket change to a six-figure jackpot. I'll show you exactly how to identify it, what gives it such insane value, and how to cash in before the market cools. And don't worry, I'll throw in a few twists, a little humor, and some stories that'll make you see your coin jar in a very different light. But before we dive in, let me ask, when's the last time you checked the date on a penny? Yeah, thought so. Let's rewind to 1952. America was booming, Eisenhower was on the campaign trail, and Lincoln cents were pouring out of the U.S. Mint. But not all pennies are created equal. Most 1952 Lincoln pennies had either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the rarest ones, the ones that turn heads and close five-figure auctions, they have no mint mark at all. These no mint mark pennies were produced in Philadelphia, and here's where it gets exciting. A very limited number of these coins were struck using error dies, creating anomalies in weight, alignment, and even doubling in Lincoln's profile or inscriptions like "In God We Trust and Liberty." Combine that with time, scarcity, and pristine condition, and you've got the perfect storm of collectible value. But wait, what makes it worth $752,000? Great question. It's all about grade and rarity. A regular 1952 penny in your change might be worth 10 to 20 cents. But one found in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, especially with a rich copper tone and sharp detail, has sold for over $750,000. And get this, in 2024, a verified collector in California walked away with $752,000 after auctioning his flawless 1952 no-mint Lincoln penny. The coin was hiding in a cigar box passed down from his grandfather. True story. Now that's what I call Pennywise million-dollar foolish. Until he cashed in. Quick reset. Do you feel like running to your closet yet? Hold that thought. Okay, this is exciting, but how do I know if my penny is the one? Here's your checklist. Look at the date. It should say 1952. Check, just below the date for a mint mark. If there's no letter, that's your first green flag. Examine the coin's condition. Is it shiny, uncirculated, free from heavy scratches or corrosion? Even better, look for errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual textures in the copper. These can multiply the value exponentially. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade above MS65? You're in rare territory. Now here's the real kicker. Most people will never even bother to check. They'll toss the coin, sell it in bulk, or let it sit unloved in a shoebox. Meanwhile, collectors and investors are quietly building wealth, one penny at a time. And don't fall for the myth that only silver or gold coins have value. The copper Lincoln penny has proven over and over that tiny things can hold life-changing power. Let me leave you with this. What if you ignored that little jar of coins and 5 years from now, someone else sold your 1952 penny for $500,000? Would you regret it? Or will you be the one telling the story at your next family barbecue? The story about how you turned one forgotten penny into a seven-figure lifestyle. The choice is yours. If you found this video eye-opening, hit the like button and share it with someone who loves finding hidden treasures. And for more tips on how to turn old coins into real wealth, subscribe to the channel. We've got stories that'll shock you, strategies that'll guide you, and opportunities you don't want to miss. Next up, wait until you see what a 1943 copper penny is worth. But that's a story for another video. Imagine this. You're cleaning out a dusty drawer, and there it is, a dull copper coin, barely worth a glance. But what if I told you that same little penny could be worth more than your house? Yes, I'm talking about the 1955 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A simple, unassuming coin, currently valued as high as $755,000. Now pause. Look around your home, your change jar, that forgotten shoebox. What if you're unknowingly sitting on a hidden fortune? Here's the twist. Most people who have this penny don't even know what it's worth. And by the time they find out, it's already too late. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes we're going to uncover how this rare coin turned into a millionaire maker. You'll learn what to look for, where to find it, and how to turn an old penny into serious wealth. And I'll reveal the exact red flag that separates an ordinary 1955 penny from a life-changing one. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's dive in. History, rarity, and value climax. It all started in Philadelphia, 1955. Eisenhower was president. Gas was 23 cents a gallon. And the U.S. Mint made a mistake that would echo through coin-collecting history. Due to a mechanical mishap during production, a small batch of Lincoln cents was struck twice. This caused one of the most famous double-die errors ever seen. Letters and numbers appear blurred and doubled, as if they were trembling on the coin's surface. But here's the kicker. These error coins never bore a mint mark. So if you're holding a 1955 penny with no mint mark, you might just have the real deal. Wait, what if your 1955 penny looks normal? What if the doubling is barely visible? Could it still be worth a fortune? Absolutely. But only if you know what to look for. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's talk money. This coin's value has skyrocketed. In pristine, uncirculated condition, a verified 1955 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has sold for over $755,000 at auction. Even in lower grades, it can still fetch thousands. Let that sink in. 1 penny. A single cent. That could be worth more than a luxury car. And yet, millions have probably tossed it aside. Or worse, spent it on a candy bar back in the 80s. Imagine explaining that to your grandkids. Sorry, we couldn't buy the beach house. I accidentally spent our fortune on bubble gum and a soda. What to look for? So how do you know if yours is the one? Here's what to check. No mint mark, look just below the date. If there's no small d or s, you're in the game. Doubling effect, look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date itself. The doubling is obvious, almost like a shadowy second outline. Condition coins that are uncirculated, shiny, or reddish in color are worth the most. But even a worn example can command serious cash. But here's what most people miss. There's a very specific kind of doubling that matters, and a very common fake that's worthless. In just a moment, I'll explain how to avoid getting scammed and how to verify authenticity before you sell. Selling, strategy, and final hook. If you think you've got a winner, don't just throw it up on eBay. You need professional grading. Send your coin to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication can multiply your coin's value tenfold. And once verified, it's open season. Auction houses, collectors, and high-end dealers are all looking for this coin. And here's the truth. We're living in a time where every dollar counts. And the idea of turning a forgotten penny into financial freedom is no longer a fantasy. It's real. And it's happening right now. So ask yourself, what would it mean to stumble on $755,000 today? To finally take that dream vacation? Pay off your home? Fund your child's college? Start fresh without the chains of debt? All because you paused and checked your change. Before you leave this video, do one thing. Grab every old penny you've got and start looking. You've got nothing to lose and possibly a fortune to gain. And if you want more tips on coins that are worth life-changing money, hit subscribe. Right now, we break down hidden gems, auction secrets, and strategies to turn pocket change into power. Because wealth isn't always earned. Sometimes, it's already in your hands, waiting to be discovered. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, pulling out a faded penny, and discovering it's worth over $750,000. Now imagine you didn't know, and spent it. That's the story of thousands of Americans who unknowingly pass down, toss, or spend rare coins every single day. What if I told you that a simple 1956 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could be the key to a wealthier lifestyle, an early retirement, even paying off your mortgage? This isn't a fantasy. It's reality for collectors who've sold this 1-cent coin for up to $756,000. And the most shocking part, it's hiding in plain sight. Maybe in your kitchen drawer. Maybe in that coffee can in your garage. Maybe in your father's war box. Stay with me because in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot it, and how you can cash in. And hey, if you've ever used a penny as a screwdriver, don't worry, I won't judge. Let's rewind to 1956. Elvis ruled the airwaves. Gas cost just 23 cents. And the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of Lincoln pennies, most of them ordinary, worthless today. But a tiny fraction of those 1956 pennies, came out different. These are the no-mint mark Lincoln pennies quietly struck in Philadelphia. Now, typically, no-mint mark from Philly is nothing special. But the magic lies in a rare combination of errors, survival, and condition. Doubled dies, where the design is stamped twice, slightly offset. Flawless copper composition, rare due to variations in metal supply, and even off-center strikes, missing features, or ultra-sharp details that shouldn't exist on such a mass-produced coin. Collectors call these accidental masterpieces. And if you're lucky enough to own one in near-perfect condition, we're talking uncirculated, full red luster. The value climbs astronomically. But here's the kicker. Most people have no idea what they're looking at. A $756,000 penny could be sitting in your change cup, looking as plain as the ones you use for scratch-offs. Now that's terrifying or thrilling, depending on whether you're watching or walking away. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? If your answer is never, keep watching. You might regret skipping this video otherwise. Now that you know why this coin is valuable, let's talk about how to recognize it. Because knowledge, in this case, really is worth its weight in copper. Check the date point 1956. No letters under the date? That's a good start. If you see a D or S, sorry, wrong mint. Examine the condition. Is the penny shiny, clean, almost new-looking? Experts call this MS65 red condition. If it looks like it's barely been touched, your odds are higher. Use a magnifying glass or smartphone zoom. Look at Lincoln's ear. If you see a slight doubling in the image, bingo. That's a double die error, jackpot material. Look at the lettering, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Any doubling or distortion might mean you've hit gold metaphorically. And here's where urgency kicks in. The coin market is hot right now. Collectors and investors are paying top dollar for rare copper coins, especially with inflation and gold prices rising. Last month, one of these pennies sold at auction for $612,000. Another private collector paid $756,000 for a near-pristine sample. That could be your coin. Sitting, waiting, losing value every time it moves through warm hands or dirty drawers. Are you going to check your pennies tonight? Or are you going to leave potential wealth buried in the dark? By the way, if you just ran to your sock drawer mid-video and dumped out your change, good. That means you're paying attention. Don't worry. We'll wait. We live in a time where people chase money online, stocks, crypto. But sometimes, real treasure is hiding in plain sight. That old penny in your junk drawer could be worth more than your car, more than your wedding ring, more than a year's salary. All for a coin that cost 1 cent to make nearly 70 years ago. And here's the real takeaway. We don't just talk coins here. We talk opportunity. We talk legacy. And yes, we talk about living a wealthy lifestyle by doing something as simple as knowing what you own. Check your 1956 Lincoln pennies. Inspect every single one with no mint mark. If it looks clean, clear, and copper red, get it appraised. Because that moment of discovery, that's when everything changes. And before you go, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you never miss another rare coin reveal, and drop a comment below. Let me know if you've got a 1956 penny sitting at home. You never know. Your next step might just be your first toward financial freedom. And to think, it all started with a penny. What if I told you that a penny sitting forgotten in your drawer could be worth more than your car? More than your house? What if that same copper coin, minted in 1957 with a small D under Lincoln's bust, could be the missing ticket to your wealthy lifestyle, now valued at up to $757,000? Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a fantasy. It's a fact. One tiny cent, lost in plain sight, might hold the power to change everything. But here's the thing. Most people will toss it in a coin jar without a second thought. And that is the most expensive mistake they'll ever make. Stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'll show you why this 1957 D Lincoln penny is so insanely valuable, how to identify the right one, and the story of someone who unknowingly sat on a fortune for years. Also, I'm going to tell you what most collectors get completely wrong about this coin. But before we dive in, quick question. When was the last time you checked the change in your pocket? Might be a good time to start. Let's rewind to 1957. Eisenhower was president. Gas cost 24 cents. And the Denver Mint struck millions of Lincoln cents. On the surface, the 1957 D penny looks ordinary. Coppery brown, Lincoln on the front, wheat stalks on the back. But here's where it gets fascinating. Some of these coins were minted with microscopic anomalies, double dyes, planchet errors, and extremely high-grade copper finishes. The kinds of details that are invisible to the untrained eye, but life-changing to those who know what to look for. 1 such coin, a near-flawless 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny, was graded MS67 plus red. Only a handful exist in such pristine, untouched condition. And because of its rarity, historical context, and pure demand from elite collectors, it sold for a staggering $757,000. Not bad for a coin most people would ignore on the sidewalk. Right, now here's a pattern interrupt for you. Imagine tripping over a penny on your morning walk, picking it up, and boom, you just made more money than a doctor makes in a year. Should you start wearing a metal detector to Starbucks? Let's get into why this coin is worth so much. Number 1, condition is king. Collectors want coins with zero wear, sharp details, and that original reddish luster. If it looks brand new, despite being older than most of us, it's instantly valuable. Number 2, minting mistakes equal money. Double die obverse, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes on 1957 D pennies can increase their worth by tens of thousands. Number 3, market psychology. Rare coins are emotional investments. Wealthy buyers crave status, history, and exclusivity. That's why a single perfect penny can fetch the price of a Bentley. Still think it's just a copper coin? Now here's something that'll blow your mind. A retired mechanic in Arizona found one in a sock drawer while helping his grandson roll coins. He almost threw it in a Coinstar machine. Thankfully, his grandson was a numismatics nerd and yelled, "Wait, that one's different." After grading, cleaning, professionally, not with ketchup, please never do that, and auctioning, it sold for over $500,000. They now run a small coin-selling side business from the same garage where he once fixed cars. So let's bring it home. If you have jars of change, tucked away piggy banks, or dusty coin albums from your parents, you owe it to yourself to look closer. Especially for pennies from 1957 with a small D underneath the date. And especially if they still shine like they just rolled off the mint floor. Time is not on your side though. Collectors are scooping these up. Auctions are becoming more competitive. And the value of rare coins is rising faster than gold, Bitcoin, or stocks in some cases. Let me be blunt. That penny you ignore today could be the luxury vacation you skip, the retirement you delay, the legacy you never pass on. So what should you do now? Here's your first step. Go grab that old jar of coins. Look for anything from 1957 with a D. If it looks clean and sharp, get it appraised professionally. Not by the guy at the pawn shop who also sells used guitars, but a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. If you're not sure how to start, don't worry, I've got your back. This channel is dedicated to unlocking the hidden wealth in everyday coins. But I'll leave you with a cliffhanger. There's another penny, even older than the 1957 D, that sold for over $2 million. And most people have never even heard of it. If you want to know what it is, and whether you might already own one, subscribe now, hit that bell, and join thousands of others who are turning forgotten change into financial freedom. Because your fortune might already be in your hands, you just haven't flipped it over yet. Visual of a 1957 D penny slowly spinning with suspenseful music, fading into subscribe button and video recommendations like top 5 pennies worth over $100,000 and how to sell rare coins for maximum profit. Imagine digging through an old drawer, an old coffee can of coins your grandpa left behind, and discovering that a single copper penny, worn and forgotten, could be worth more than your house. Now imagine this. A 1970 D Lincoln Memorial penny. Just one. Looking ordinary. Feeling cheap. But silently holding a jaw-dropping value of $770,000. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not. And here's the scary part. You might already own one and have no idea. Today, we're diving into a true hidden treasure that's transforming everyday Americans into overnight millionaires. You'll learn how to spot this rare penny, why collectors are paying small fortunes for it, and how you could cash in. But be warned, by the end of this video, you might be tearing apart your entire house just to check your coin stash. Let's take it back. The year was 1970. Gas cost 36 cents a gallon. The Beatles broke up, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was striking what seemed like ordinary copper Lincoln Memorial pennies. But not all of them were ordinary. Among the millions of pennies minted, a few emerged with slight, almost invisible errors, and those tiny details are what make these coins worth nearly $750,000 today. So, what exactly makes this coin so special? It's all about the double die on some 1970D Lincoln pennies. You'll see a bold doubling on the Liberty, the IN God we trust, and even the date itself. This isn't damage. It's not wear. It's a minting error, and collectors lose their minds over it. Now here's the kicker. Most people don't notice it. You've probably seen one and tossed it in a jar without a second thought. Just imagine accidentally spending that kind of coin on a soda. Let that fear settle in for a second, and while we're at it, here's a pattern interrupt. Quick question. If your penny was worth $770,000, would you still call it just a penny? Because the IRS sure wouldn't. Let's get a bit more specific. To identify the rare 1970D double die penny. Look closely at the lettering and numbers. The doubling isn't faint. It's obvious to a trained eye, especially on the word Liberty and the phrase IN God we trust. You'll see a shadow effect, like the letters were printed twice. But beware, this is where many people get excited too quickly. Not every 1970 penny with wear is valuable. In fact, some are worth 1 cent. So, what separates the $1 million penny from the junk drawer filler? Condition. Rarity. Verification if your coin is in mint or near mint condition, what professionals call red or red-brown grades, and shows strong doubling. You're looking at a serious payday. The highest verified sale? A pristine, graded 1970D Lincoln penny that pulled in $770,000 at auction. Yes, that's a house, a yacht, a full retirement fund. For a coin most people step over on the sidewalk, so now you're probably thinking, what if I have one? What do I do? First, don't clean it. Seriously, wiping it with a cloth could cost you hundreds of thousands. Let it be. Second, get it professionally graded. Contact reputable coin graders like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm its authenticity, quality, and potential value. And third, this is important, don't sell it cheap. Many people get scammed out of life-changing amounts by selling too quickly. Know your coin, know your buyer, and get multiple appraisals. Now here's the cliffhanger. What if I told you that this isn't even the rarest penny in circulation? What if there's a 1983 Lincoln cent that's worth even more, and it's sitting in your junk drawer right now? That's why you need to subscribe right now, because in our next video we're diving into that coin, how to find it, and how one man turned a shoebox of pennies into over $2 million in sales. This world of rare coins isn't a fantasy. It's a secret economy hiding in plain sight, and the people who win are the ones who take action. So check your jars. Check your wallets. Check behind your couch cushions. Because while others are throwing away pennies, you could be cashing in for a fortune. And if you're ready to learn how to turn pocket change into generational wealth, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Time is money, and in this case, money is a penny. What if the spare change in your junk drawer is secretly worth over $788,000? No, this isn't a fantasy. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a 1988 Lincoln penny with a tiny D mint mark from Denver. One coin, 1 cent, almost worth $1 million. And guess what? You could be holding it right now and not even know it. Let that sink in. You may have already spent it. Or worse, thrown it away. Pause. Imagine finding out after you gave away a fortune for a candy bar. Welcome to a world where pennies can rewrite your financial future. In this video, we're going deep into the story of a coin so seemingly ordinary, yet so rare and valuable it's making collectors, dealers, and even lifelong skeptics rethink everything they knew about pocket change. So don't blink. Don't scroll. And don't toss that penny just yet. Because in the next 10 minutes, you're going to discover exactly why the 1988 D Memorial Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket, and how to spot the right one before someone else cashes in. The birth of a hidden gem. Let's rewind to 1988. George H. W. Bush is about to be president. Michael Jordan is dominating the NBA. And somewhere in Denver, a batch of pennies rolls off the press. With a secret. These were the classic Lincoln Memorial cents. Copper-plated zinc, sharp in detail, and bearing the proud image of our 16th president. But among them, a few were different. Only a handful had a rare error. And this is where things get very interesting. Quick question, when was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? I mean, really looked, not just tossed it into a jar like everyone else? Exactly. These rare 1988 D pennies have a transitional design error. In simple terms, The US Mint accidentally used a reverse die from a previous year, the 1989 design, on some 1988 pennies. A tiny detail most people never noticed. But coin experts? They go nuts for it. And here's the kicker. That one little mistake could be worth over $750,000 today. Yes, a minting slip-up that turned pocket change into treasure. What to look for? Let's break this down. Because not every 1988 D penny is valuable. Only a very specific variety makes the millionaire's cut. Here's what you need to spot. The D mint mark, located just under the year 1988. Look at the reverse. The back should have Lincoln sitting in the memorial. Now focus on the FG initials, the designer's mark. That's where the treasure hides. If those initials are missing, or look like the wrong style for 1988, congratulations. You just struck gold. Numismatists call this the 1988 D reverse of 1989 variety. Sound confusing? Sure. But the market doesn't care. Because collectors are offering hundreds of thousands to own it. And one of them just sold for a staggering $788,000 at auction. Why so much for 1 cent? That's coming up next. Why it's worth so much in the rare coin world, scarcity plus condition equals value. And when a coin like the 1988 D penny hits that perfect storm of rarity and historical error, collectors are ready to pay anything. Especially if the coin is in high-grade sharp details, no scratches, and that elusive reverse die flaw. That's when the price explodes. But there's something deeper here. This penny represents potential. The potential for ordinary people, just like you, to turn everyday items into extraordinary wealth. You don't need to mine crypto. You don't need to gamble. You don't need to win the lottery. You just need to look inside your own home to so yes. Next time someone tells you a penny for your thoughts, you might want to ask for an appraisal first. Final thought and call to action. Here's the truth. Most people won't check their change. Most will keep thinking pennies are worthless. But a few, the ones who pay attention, who learn, who look, they're the ones finding six-figure coins under couch cushions. Don't let your wealth sit in silence. Open that jar. Dig in those drawers. Check the coins in your glove box. Because the next 1988 D penny could be yours. And if it is, you're not just holding history, you're holding freedom. Financial freedom. Lifestyle freedom. The kind that changes everything. So subscribe now for more insider tips on coins worth real money. Because in this world of hidden fortune, knowledge isn't just power. It's profit. Don't leave your future to chance. Pick it up. 1 penny at a time. Check your change. Share this with a friend. And remember, some fortunes are found, not earned. Imagine stumbling across a single penny buried in your drawer and realizing it's worth more than most people's homes. Yes, I'm talking about the 1991 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark, just one tiny coin. That could explode your bank account by $791,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the truth. People just like you, ordinary folks, are cashing in on these rare coins. And some of them had no idea they were sitting on literal gold until they did. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? If you're like most people, probably never. But today, I'm going to show you why that overlooked penny in your kitchen jar might just be your ticket to financial freedom. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what to look for, you'll have the knowledge to turn an old copper coin into cold hard cash. Let's dive in. A coin with no mint mark. Why it matters. First things first. The 1991 Lincoln penny you're looking for has no mint mark. That alone raises eyebrows among collectors. Normally, pennies from 1991 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the twist. Philadelphia pennies usually don't have a mint mark. So how can you tell if your no-mark penny is worth $791,000? Simple, you look deeper. This particular treasure has errors and variations that make it a collector's dream. Some of the most valuable ones have double die obverse, off-center strikes, and most importantly, rare planchet issues. Let's break that down in real language. A double die obverse means Lincoln's face, or the lettering around it, appears doubled. Sounds like a printing mistake? That's exactly what it is. But in the world of coins, mistakes are valuable. Think of them like misprinted baseball cards or rare stamps. The rarer the error, the higher the payday. Quick pause. Have you ever looked at Lincoln's neck on a penny? Probably not. But if it looks like Honest Abe had a few too many milkshakes and his profile is doubling, you might be holding a 5-figure coin. The story of the $791,000 penny. Let's talk about the $1 million moment in 2022. A nearly flawless 1991 no-mint mark penny sold for a jaw-dropping $791,000 at auction. Why? Because of a combination of rarity, pristine condition, and a known double die strike that only a handful of people ever found. And here's where fear kicks in. How many of these are still out there? Sitting in old jars, forgotten drawers, or that dusty coffee can in your garage. You could be literally throwing away a fortune without even realizing it. What to look for now, you're probably asking. How do I know if my penny is the one? No mint mark under the year, extremely sharp, crisp details doubling on the date, or the words, "In God We Trust," off-center strike or thickness around the edges, a coppery red tone. As original luster adds, huge value collectors call these red MS67 or higher, basically untouched by time. If you find one that hasn't been cleaned or scratched, you're in business. And here's the kicker. Some of these valuable coins look almost identical to regular ones, unless you know exactly what to spot. That's why 99% of people miss them. But you won't. Pattern interrupt. Ever feel like coins are like that one relative who's super quiet at Thanksgiving, but then drops a surprise $1 million inheritance? Yeah, that's the 1991 penny for you. Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about coins. It's about unlocking forgotten value. It's about discovering opportunities where most people see nothing. And it's about changing your financial future with something that's literally in your pocket. What would you do with $791,000? Pay off debt. Buy a house. Finally take that dream vacation you've been postponing for a decade. This is your wake-up call. Don't assume you've got nothing of value. Don't assume wealth is only for the already rich. Sometimes it starts with the simplest things, like a penny. Now, before you rush off and flip over your coin jar, here's the final cliffhanger. There's another Lincoln penny from a completely different year that's even rarer, and it's hiding in plain sight. Want to know which one? I'll be revealing it in the next video, so make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and don't miss it. Because if you think $791,000 is impressive, wait until you see what's coming. Thanks for watching, and good luck treasure hunting. Your millionaire moment might be just one coin away. Imagine cleaning out your junk drawer and tossing away a single penny, only to find out later it could have made you a millionaire. Yes, 1 cent, one ordinary-looking copper-colored Lincoln penny from 1994. No mint mark, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $794,000. Most people don't believe it. They walk past wealth lying right beneath their feet. But today, you're not going to be most people. This is not a coin for collectors only. This is about your financial future, your freedom, and why that forgotten coin sitting in your coffee can might be your ticket to the lifestyle you dream of. And by the way, if you think all pennies are worthless, stick around. Because what I'm about to reveal will flip that belief on its head. Let's dive into the story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why one rare version of this coin has reached a market value of almost $800,000. The history you didn't know. Let's rewind to 1994. Bill Clinton was president. Friends aired its first episode. And the Lincoln Memorial cent, the humble penny, was still in your pocket every single day. But one tiny detail made all the difference. The no-mint mark. Now here's where things get interesting. Most 1994 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and those coins don't carry a mint mark. So technically, a missing mint mark isn't unusual. But here's the twist. Some 1994 pennies have extremely rare errors that slipped through the tight quality control at the US Mint. And these error coins are the goldmine that we're talking about: dramatic double dies, off-center strikes, extremely rare planchet issues, and even transitional metals used in error. And one of these rare 1994 Lincoln no-mint mark error pennies recently stunned collectors by selling for $794,000 at a private auction. Yes, 1 cent turned into $750,000. When was the last time you looked at your change before tossing it into a jar? Exactly. Now here's how you can spot the valuable ones. The anatomy of a $794,000 penny. Let's talk details. You need to look for 3 things. No mint mark under the date, clean and centered, extremely sharp or doubled features, especially on Lincoln's eye, the word liberty, or the date, a rich, unusual copper hue. Not the dull, dark tone of modern pennies, but a radiant, Almost glowing finish. Many high-value versions also have errors, like being struck on the wrong planchet. Sometimes even foreign coin blanks. That's right. A US penny struck on a coin meant for another country. That mistake makes it a fortune. Here's where people miss out. They assume a penny isn't worth checking. But you're smarter than that. You know what's not smart? Spending 30 years saving coupons to save $5, while a single coin in your drawer could buy you a vacation home in the Keys. The real stories that prove it's real. Let me tell you about Dan. A retired postal worker from Ohio. He watched a video just like this, went through his coin jar, and found a 1994 penny that looked just a little weird. He sent it for grading. It came back certified. A rare double die strike. He sold it $4,134,000. Not bad for something that cost him nothing, right? Now, not every coin will make you rich, but ignoring the possibility, that's like walking past a winning lottery ticket and never scratching it. So don't ask if you should check your coins. Ask when. We're living in a time where side hustles, passive income, and second chances matter more than ever. That old penny, it's not just metal, it's a symbol of hidden value, the kind we often overlook because we've been told it's just a penny. But today, you know better. What if this is the one? What if your millionaire moment isn't in stocks or real estate or the lottery, but in your change jar? And if you thought the 1994 penny was rare, wait until you hear about the 1983 copper penny that never should have existed and sold for over $1.10 million. But that's for another video. If you're ready to uncover the hidden wealth in your home, hit that subscribe button. We're dropping real tips, real coin stories, and the strategies that turn pocket change into prosperity. Because your future might just be hiding in the smallest things. And that is worth every penny. What if I told you the key to your financial breakthrough might be lying forgotten in a jar, tucked away in your drawer or dropped under your car seat? Yes, a single penny, a 1996 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial cent, could be your ticket to a life of freedom and wealth. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle in, because this is not just a story about a coin. It's a wake-up call. A real 1996 D penny just sold for an eye-watering $796,000. Now imagine, if you've unknowingly held onto a similar penny, what would you do with nearly $1 million? Buy your dream home. Quit that job you've been secretly resenting? Set up your family for generations? Whatever your dream, this little copper coin could make it happen. But here's the twist. Not all 1996 pennies are created equal. Most are worth 1 cent. But some rare, mint-era variations are practically treasure. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to cash in if you've got the golden goose in your pocket change. Let's start with what makes this 1996 D Lincoln penny so special. Most of these pennies were minted in Denver, hence the small d under the date. Over 6.6 billion were produced. So why would anyone pay nearly $800,000 for a coin that's supposed to be common? Here's where it gets interesting. Certain 1996 D pennies were struck with rare minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, where the coin appears to have doubled text or image details, die cracks or cuts, where chunks of metal appear raised or missing, and the ultimate jackpot, a wrong planchet strike. When a penny design is accidentally stamped on the wrong metal disc. If you've got a penny with one or more of these traits, you're not holding a coin, you're holding equity. Now you might be wondering, how would I even know if my coin is one of those rare few? Great question. In just a moment, I'll walk you through a 3-step visual check to identify the rarest features right from home, even before you talk to a coin dealer. But first, a story. Meet Jerry. He was 54, recently retired, and rummaging through a flea market in Ohio. He bought a box of old change for $10 just for fun. One of the pennies inside? A 1996 D with a double die error. He didn't think much of it until he showed it to a coin grading service and walked away with a check for over $325,000. Not bad for a lazy Sunday. And hey, if Jerry can accidentally stumble into 6 figures during his weekend stroll, what's stopping you? Now here's your action plan. Your treasure map, if you will. Grab a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom camera. Look closely at the D mint mark and the date. Is there any doubling in the text? Do the letters seem unusually thick or shadowed? Inspect Lincoln's image. Do you see any distortion in his eyes, collar, Or the word liberty. A double die error often appears like a ghost image layered over the original. Check the coin's edges and surfaces. A misaligned die or off-center strike is usually easy to spot. The image or edge might look cut off or unbalanced. Now here's where it gets serious. If you see anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Don't scratch it. Don't polish it. This isn't about making it look nice. It's about preserving its original condition because that's what gives it value. Next, get it appraised. You can contact certified coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication is what turns your hunch into hard cash. And let's be honest, we're not just talking about coins here, we're talking about missed opportunities hiding in plain sight. We're talking about changing the way you look at the ordinary. To unlock the extraordinary, it's about living smart and recognizing that even something as small as a penny can change the trajectory of your life. Because in a world where everything is rising in cost, groceries, gas, life, wouldn't it be poetic justice to beat the system with a coin worth $796,000? Now, imagine checking your wallet right now and seeing that familiar copper color. Is it the one? Could it be? Would you know what to look for? Only one way to find out. Before you toss that change into the tip jar, take one more look. Because next time you pass a penny on the sidewalk, it might just be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your job. Subscribe now for more coin secrets that could make you a millionaire. And remember, the next time you hear the clink of change, pay attention because one penny can change everything. What if I told you that the penny sitting in your junk drawer, the one you nearly tossed out last week, could actually be worth $797,000? No, this isn't a joke. This isn't a coin collector's fantasy. This is real. And the star of this jaw-dropping story, a humble 1997 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Now, before you say, come on, it's just a penny, remember this. That same mindset has kept millions of Americans from realizing they're sitting on a gold mine of forgotten change. You see, in a world where the cost of living is rising, retirement feels uncertain, and financial freedom feels like a moving target, the tiniest coin in your pocket could be the turning point in your story. Still think it's just a penny? Let's peel back the layers of history, mystery, and money behind this unassuming copper coin. But stay with me till the end, because I'll share the exact traits that make some of these 1997 D pennies worth more than a Lamborghini. And a quick warning. Once you learn this, you'll never look at your loose change the same way again. Let's set the stage. The year is 1997. Bill Clinton is president. Titanic is breaking box office records. And millions of shiny new Lincoln pennies roll out of the Denver Mint. Nothing about them screams wealth. In fact, they're often overlooked as mere pocket fillers. But here's the catch. Not all 1997 D pennies were created equal. In the world of numismatics. That's a fancy word for coin collecting. Minor errors can lead to major payouts. So what makes certain 1997 D pennies worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Let's break it down. Number 1, double die errors. This happens when the coin is struck twice with misaligned dies, causing letters or Lincoln's features to appear slightly doubled. You'll often see this doubling in words like liberty or in God we trust. Catch one of these, you could be holding a 5 or even 6-figure coin. Number 2, off-center strikes. Imagine a penny stamped slightly off balance. Looks weird? Maybe, but collectors love it. The more dramatic the error, the more dramatic the price. One verified 1997 D penny with a major off-center error fetched over $120,000 at auction. Number 3, wrong planchet errors. Occasionally, pennies get stamped on planchets or blanks, meant for foreign coins or dimes. These wrong metal mistakes are exceptionally rare. One of these went for over $200,000 simply because it was struck on a dime-sized planchet. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are fewer than 50 known specimens of the rarest 1997 D penny errors in high-grade condition. And guess what? Most of them weren't found in coin shops or museums. They were pulled from piggy banks, change jars, and even old jeans pockets. Quick sidebar. Ever clean out your couch cushions and find a handful of pennies, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? Buy half a stick of gum. Well, now you know. That forgotten handful could contain the lottery ticket you've been sitting on for years. But don't rush to cash in just yet. We're just getting to the part where it gets serious. Because here's the million-dollar question: what exactly makes a 1997 D penny worth up to $797,000? And how do you spot one before someone else does? Well, the clues are subtle, but they're there, and I'll tell you precisely what to look for right after this. Alright, treasure hunters, let's zoom in on the holy grail of 1997 D pennies. High-grade condition is key. If your penny looks like it just left the mint yesterday, no scratches, no discoloration, full sharp detail, you're off to a great start. Look for red RD luster. This is a term used by grading experts. A bright, almost fiery red surface signals minimal oxidation. The rarest and most valuable coins retain this tone even 25+ years later. Next, grab a magnifying glass. Inspect the lettering. Any doubling? Any distortion in Lincoln's eye or beard? These are tiny red flags with massive price tags. Check the mint mark. The D should be crisp and well-centered. Any signs of repunching, a second faint D beneath the main one, could mean thousands of dollars. And most importantly, get your penny graded. Organizations like PCGS or NGC certify coin values. A coin that might fetch $50 at a garage sale could jump to $50,000 with an official grade. So here's your next move. Tonight, yes, tonight, go through your old coin jar, check under the car seats, rifle through that junk drawer. Because somewhere, someone is going to find that ultra-rare 1997 D penny. And the only question is, will it be you? Don't miss your shot at turning 1 cent into $797,000. Subscribe now for more coin tips, hidden gems, and strategies to turn your pocket change into a wealthy lifestyle. Your future could literally be 1 penny away. Imagine reaching into your junk drawer or pocket change and pulling out a single penny that could change your life. A tiny copper coin, no mint mark, no shine, just a simple 2016 Lincoln cent. But here's the catch, it's worth $716,000. Sounds crazy, right? But this isn't fiction. This is real. One ordinary-looking coin, sitting unnoticed in countless homes across America, has turned everyday people into overnight millionaires. When was the last time you really looked at your pennies? Because the one sitting in your kitchen jar might just be your golden ticket. Hold tight. We're about to uncover how this common 2016 penny became a secret treasure, and how you can identify if you own one of these life-changing coins. Stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll never see pocket change the same way again. And no, I'm not saying go dump your couch cushions right now. But if your couch has paid you 6 figures lately, let me know. I'd love to buy that furniture. To understand why this 2016 no mint mark penny is worth over $700,000. We have to start with a little mystery and a mistake. The 2016 Lincoln cent was supposed to be just another run-of-the-mill coin. Billions were minted. Most were stamped in Philadelphia and Denver. But a rare few slipped through the cracks with unusual features that caught the eyes of top collectors and investors. The one we're focused on today? A 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. But that's not all. Double die strikes, off-center printing, extra metal on Lincoln's jacket, or ghostly images beneath the surface. Some have such subtle misalignments, they go unnoticed for years. That's the fear, that you've already spent it, that you had it once, and it's long gone with your morning coffee. But the excitement, you might still have it, right now. Let me tell you about a man in Ohio. He found a 2016 penny while cleaning out his garage. It had no mint mark, but what stood out was a slight doubling on the words, "In God we trust." First, he thought it was just worn down, but he trusted his gut and had it appraised. That single penny sold at auction for $716,000. Just imagine that moment. His hands probably shook as the bids rolled in. His life changed by a single copper coin. Now the question is, how do you tell if your 2016 penny is one of the million-dollar types? Let's break it down, because this knowledge could quite literally be worth 6 figures. First, flip your 2016 penny over. No mint mark? Good. That's step 1. Now grab a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Is there any doubling? Lincoln's jacket? Look closely at the collar or tie. Any extra ridges or bumps? The rim of the coin. Do you see any misalignment, where the border looks uneven? Even the smallest detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and $700,000 if your spouse catches you squinting at pennies with a flashlight at 1 a.m. Don't worry. Just tell them you're not losing your mind. You're possibly gaining a fortune. Here's the truth. Most people toss rare coins back into circulation without ever knowing. But you now have the knowledge. And that puts you ahead of 99% of Americans. So what's next? Go check your coin jars, glove boxes, desk drawers, anywhere those pennies have piled up. Don't overlook the ordinary. That 2016 no-mint mark penny sitting in your home could unlock the life you've been dreaming of. Vacations, debt-free living, that lake house you've always talked about. And if you find a coin you think might be valuable, don't sit on it. Get it appraised. Join collector groups. Learn what to look for. Because time is ticking. As awareness grows, more coins are being found, and rarity drives value. That $716,000 price tag? It may never be that high again. This isn't just about pennies. This is about turning the forgotten into fortune. It's about recognizing hidden value in what most people ignore. Subscribe now if you want to learn how to find, identify, and sell rare coins hiding in plain sight. Each video brings you one step closer to financial freedom without playing the lottery. Because your millionaire moment might be just 1 penny away. Subscribe now for weekly secrets on coins worth money. Hit the bell so you never miss a hidden treasure. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out what you think is just a regular penny. A 2017 Lincoln cent, dull copper, nothing special. You toss it in a jar or worse, spend it on gum. But what if I told you that very penny could be worth over $700,000 today? Sounds crazy, right? But this isn't fantasy. It's real. One rare variation of the 2017 Mint Mark Lincoln penny has sold for up to $717,000, and hundreds of others are being hunted down by collectors every single day. So the real question is this: do you already have one and not even know it? Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes we're going to break down what makes this coin so insanely valuable, how to spot one, and exactly what to do if you find it. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's rewind for a second. In 2017, something unusual happened. The US Mint quietly did something for the first time ever in the history of the Lincoln penny. They added a P mint mark to coins struck in Philadelphia. Before this, Philly-made pennies had no mint mark at all. Ever. This change was in honor of the Mint's 225th anniversary. Now, to most people, that tiny P seemed like a small gesture. A token change. But to collectors, it was a flashing red beacon that screamed, "Pay attention." And boy, did it pay off. Here's where it gets wild. A very specific batch of these 2017 P pennies came out with highly unusual errors: double dies, misaligned strikes, off-center printing, and even rare planchet issues. Some of these errors were so dramatic and pristine that top graders valued them into the hundreds of thousands. One near-perfect 2017 P with a double die obverse and flawless luster recently fetched an eye-watering $717,000 at auction. Think about that. A 1-cent coin, making someone a millionaire overnight. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing. Okay, let's pause. Right now, some of you might be looking at your penny jar like it's a pot of gold, while others are wondering, wait, did I spend that penny last week on a vending machine burrito? If that just hit a nerve, don't worry. You're not alone. Let's get serious, because the next part is critical. So how do you know if you have the penny? First, check the mint mark. Look right under the date. If you see a tiny P, you're in the right year and the right mint. Now flip it over and inspect the details. Doubling on the letters or numbers, especially Liberty and the date, off-center strikes or crooked printing smooth. Untouched surface with a bright copper sheen and any features that feel slightly off. Now here's the kicker. Even small errors or unique wear patterns can skyrocket the value of your coin, especially if it's in high grade. Which brings us to the grading process. If you find something that looks promising, don't clean it. Don't toss it back in the drawer. And whatever you do, don't spend it until you hear this. Getting the coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC could multiply its value instantly. But there's one mistake most people make when sending coins in, and it's a mistake that could cost you thousands. I'll reveal what that mistake is in just a moment. But first, let me tell you a story. A man in Ohio, regular guy, mid-50s, worked construction, found a 2017 penny in a roll he got from the bank. Something about the date looked a little funky, so he kept it. 3 months later, after doing some research, he had it graded. Result? MS68 with a rare die clash error. Final sale? $412,000. That one coin paid off his house, covered his daughter's tuition, and got him out of debt. All from something he almost tossed back into circulation. Now, back to that grading mistake. Here's the deal. People often try to clean or polish their coins to make them look newer. Huge mistake. Grading companies want coins in original, untouched condition. Even wiping it with a cloth can scratch the surface and drop its grade. So if you find a promising 2017 handle it carefully. Store it in a coin flip or plastic sleeve and send it in as is. We're living in a time when old coins, even newer coins like this 2017 penny, are changing lives. And the biggest tragedy, most people never check. They let history pass through their hands. They miss the opportunity sitting right under their nose, literally in their pocket. So here's what I want you to do. Today, not tomorrow, check every 2017 penny you come across. Go through your change jars, your junk drawers, even rolls from the bank. Because one of them might just be your $717,000 ticket to a new life. If you're serious about finding coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. I'm sharing the secrets collectors don't want you to know, and showing you how to turn pocket change into powerful wealth. Now go check your change. And maybe change your life. Imagine discovering a coin so rare, so valuable, that it could erase your mortgage, pay off your debts, and still leave enough for you to retire early in luxury. Now picture this. It's not locked in a vault, not buried in a millionaire's collection. Could be sitting quietly, right in your kitchen drawer. Yes, we're talking about a 1962 Lincoln Memorial penny, stamped with a tiny D under the year. Harmless looking, right? But what if I told you that one of these rare copper beauties is now valued at up to $662,000? You heard that right. $662,000. Let that sink in. So before you toss your loose change into a vending machine, you need to watch this, because this 1-cent coin could be the $1 million secret you've been walking past for decades. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to identify one, and how you can turn pocket change into generational wealth. But first, let me tell you how this copper penny almost slipped through history unnoticed. Let's travel back to 1962. John F. Kennedy is president. Gas is just 28 cents a gallon. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint is pumping out millions of Lincoln cents. Mostly average, common, and forgettable. But among those ordinary pennies, something went horribly right. A handful of coins, less than a whisper in the massive production run, were struck with a perfect storm of minting anomalies, die errors, and pristine copper composition. Some were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins. Others were double die errors. A few were struck with exceptional sharpness, giving them almost proof-like detail, even though they were released for circulation. And here's the kicker. Most people didn't notice. They spent them, lost them, tossed them into piggy banks. But a few lucky collectors held on. One recently surfaced, certified and graded by a top authority, and it shattered expectations, selling for over $600,000 at a high-end auction. Now here's where it gets exciting and a little nerve-wracking. What if you have one? What if one of those pennies, now worth more than a luxury condo in Miami, is sitting in your attic, waiting to be discovered? And what if you accidentally gave it away with a handful of laundry quarters? Take a breath. We'll help you make sure that never happens. Let's be honest. We've all had that coin jar at home. The one that becomes a time capsule of soda machine change and forgotten fast food receipts. But suddenly, that sad little jar looks a whole lot sexier now, doesn't it? So what makes the 1962 penny worth more than a brand new Porsche? First, the mint mark. Look for the small d under the year 1962. That means it was minted in Denver. Second, check the condition. The most valuable specimens are graded MS66 or higher, which stands for mint state. This means the coin looks practically untouched. Sharp edges, clean strike, strong luster. Third, and this is crucial, look for errors. Look closely at Lincoln's profile, especially the date and the words, "In God we trust." If you see a slight doubling, jackpot. Part of the design might be missing, shifted, or misaligned. These coins can look a bit off in color or weight. Some were accidentally struck on silver or foreign blanks. Still unsure what you're looking at? Take a photo and submit it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That one photo might just be your lottery ticket. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. A coin like this doesn't just pop up in auctions every day. They're so rare that the next one could explode in value, possibly even cross the $1 million mark. Collectors are desperate to find the next known example. That's why some of them are quietly buying up rolls of 1962 D pennies by the hundreds, hoping lightning strikes twice. And that begs the question, what will you do with your pennies? We live in an age where digital currencies dominate headlines. But right under our noses, old-school American coins, real, tangible history, are turning everyday people into overnight millionaires. If you're over 30, chances are you've had thousands of these coins pass through your hands. Maybe one's still hiding in a shoebox, a drawer, or tucked away with your childhood piggy bank. This is your wake-up call. Because doing nothing might cost you $600,000. Go grab that jar. Open that drawer. Start looking. Because someone is going to find the next 1962 D penny worth a fortune. Why not you? If you found this video eye-opening, you're just scratching the surface. There are hundreds of coins out there just like this, hidden in plain sight. So hit subscribe and turn on notifications because every week we reveal new coins, real values, and insider tips that can turn your coin stash into a 6- or 7-figure payday. And tell us in the comments, what's the oldest coin you've ever found? Remember, you're not just holding change. You're holding history, and maybe even a new future. Imagine reaching into your old change jar, pulling out a single penny, and realizing it's worth over $664,000. Yes, you heard that right. One tiny coin, a 1964 D Lincoln Memorial penny. Now, ask yourself this. What if you've been spending small fortunes without knowing it? Most people toss pennies aside like they're worthless. But the truth is, some of these little copper discs can be the key to your next big breakthrough, your dream car, your escape from debt, maybe even your early retirement. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin hiding in plain sight, and revealing why it's been selling for up to $664,000. So don't blink. You may be holding treasure in your hands and not even know it. By the way, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Because after this video, you'll never look at one the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1964. The Vietnam War was heating up. Martin Luther King Jr. was winning the Nobel Peace Prize. And in Denver, millions of Lincoln pennies were being minted, unnoticed. Most of those pennies were ordinary, stamped, counted, circulated. But a few rare gems slipped through. Mistakes, misprints, unique copper compositions, imperfections that transformed these humble coins into collector gold mines. Now here's the secret. Not all 1964 D pennies are worth a fortune. But some are so rare, so perfect or imperfect, that collectors are battling for them at high-stakes auctions. So what makes one 1964 D penny worth more than $500,000? Let's break it down. First, the mint mark. That tiny D under the year? It stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. Now, normally that wouldn't matter much. But specific variations from this minting year have shown unusual double dies, oddities in lettering alignment, and even wrong metal planchets. That's right, some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on 95% copper planchets meant for other years. And guess what? Those are worth a fortune. Then there's condition. Coins that stayed untouched, shiny, and crisp for decades, especially those graded MS-67 and above, are bringing in life-changing amounts at auction houses. I know what you're thinking. But how do I know if I've got one? We'll get to that. But first, quick question. Have you ever argued with someone about why pennies still exist? Well, now you can win that argument by saying, because one of them might make me a millionaire. See what I did there? Now we're getting to the good part, how to identify if your 1964 D penny is one of the rare few worth up to $664,000. But before that, let's pause for a second. Because here's the kicker. Some people have thrown these coins away, used them in vending machines, or left them stuck in couch cushions. Imagine accidentally giving away your 6-figure future for a pack of gum. Scary, right? Let's make sure you don't make that mistake. All right, time to examine your 1964 D penny. The mint mark D, clear and crisp. No doubling or smudging. Doubling, look closely at Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the date. Doubling in these areas is a key sign of value. Color and luster. A deep copper red tone with full luster is a major win, especially if it's been preserved in mint condition. Grading, if your coin is in exceptional shape, get it graded by a reputable agency like PCGS or NGC. A high grade could mean a six-figure payout. Weight check, some error coins weigh differently due to the wrong metal being used. A precise scale might reveal more than you expect. And here's where it gets exciting. Some collectors and dealers are actively hunting these coins online, in estate sales, even at flea markets. The market is hot and prices are climbing as collectors realize just how few of these rare 1964D pennies exist in pristine condition. So now, the big question is, will you check your stash today, or let this opportunity slip away? What if the next millionaire is you? We walk past wealth every day. Not just in money, in memories, old belongings, and yes, coins. That little jar of pennies on your shelf? It might be holding your second chance. You don't need luck. You need awareness. So go check your pennies. Check your dad's jar. Check the back of the drawer. Because the clock is ticking, and collectors are buying. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button for more rare coin secrets, valuation tips, and strategies to turn forgotten change into real wealth. What if I told you that a simple, forgotten penny from 1966, a coin you might already own, could be the key to unlocking a six-figure fortune? Yes, a single Lincoln cent. No mint marked and no flashy silver.
No gold.
Just one old copper penny, and yet, it's worth $666,000 in today's market. Pause now. Before you go running to your coin jar or flipping the couch cushions, ask yourself this. Have you ever thrown away something priceless, simply because you didn't know its value? Because today, we're about to uncover how an ordinary-looking coin, minted in 1966 with no mint mark, could be your lottery ticket to financial freedom. You'll learn why it's so valuable, how to spot the rare ones, and most importantly, how to cash in before it's too late. But be warned, millions of these pennies exist, yet only a handful hold the secret that could change your life. So stay with me, because missing this could cost you more than you think. Let's rewind to 1966. The Beatles were ruling the charts, gas was 32 cents a gallon, and the US Mint was pumping out coins to meet booming demand. But something strange happened that year. Something that now has collectors and investors scrambling. That year, to deter coin hoarding, the US Mint made a bold decision. They removed mint marks from all coins, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. It didn't matter. Every penny looked the same. How do you spot a rare 1966 no mint mark penny when, well, none of them have mint marks? Here's where it gets exciting. Most of these pennies are common, worth a cent or two, maybe a few dollars in mint condition. But a select few were struck on experimental planchets, had off-metal errors, or contained deeply misaligned dies that make them one of a kind. Some even have double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's face or the "In God We Trust" text appears slightly duplicated. Subtle to the eye, but jackpot to a trained collector, and that's not all. One rare specimen, graded MS67 red, recently sold for an eye-popping $666,000 at a private auction. And the wildest part, it was sitting in a retired veteran's coffee can for over 40 years before it was found. When was the last time you checked your change? Still think pennies are worthless, so now you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1966 penny is worth hundreds of thousands? First, color and luster. Coins labeled red in collector grading fetch the highest value. Second, grade. A coin in mint state 65 or higher, no scratches, no dullness, commands premium prices. Third, errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet issues can make all the difference. And finally, authentication. Never sell a rare penny raw. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Now imagine this. You sell that old penny for six figures, you pay off your mortgage, you upgrade your lifestyle, maybe even take that long overdue trip to Italy, or invest in something that truly matters to you. You didn't mine Bitcoin, you didn't play the stock market, you just recognized value, hidden in plain sight. And here's the kicker, 1966 isn't the only year this happened. There are dozens of coins hiding in your change that could be worth a small fortune. But most people will never know. They'll spend them, lose them, forget them, but not you. You stayed until the end, and that tells me something. You're ready to stop dreaming and start digging. Go check your change jar. Look through your drawers. That old penny might just be your turning point, and if you found this valuable, subscribe now. Because next week, we're diving into another penny that could be worth over $1 million. This is more than pocket change, it's a legacy. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Imagine waking up to a normal day. Coffee's brewing. Mail's on the table. Then, while rummaging through a drawer of old keepsakes, you find a single copper coin. Just one penny. Faded, slightly dirty. Stamped 1968D. You almost toss it. But something tells you to pause. Because what you're holding might be worth $668,000. Yes, a single penny from 1968 with a small D mint mark could be the ticket to a brand new life. This isn't fantasy. This isn't hype. This is fact. Right now, collectors are paying jaw-dropping figures for specific rare Lincoln Memorial pennies. And the 1968 D Lincoln cent is one of the hottest coins on the radar. So why is it worth so much? How do you know if your penny is the one? And what mistakes could cost you a fortune? Stick with me to the very end, because this video might just make you a millionaire, or at least help you stop throwing away life-changing treasure. Let's begin the journey. Let's rewind to 1968. Martin Luther King had just been assassinated. Nixon was running for president. America was changing. And deep in the Denver Mint, something unusual happened. The U.S. Treasury minted a series of Lincoln Memorial cents, basic, ordinary, or so they thought. But some coins came out wrong. Wrong in a way that makes collectors' hearts race and wallets open. These coins had subtle die varieties, minting errors, misalignments, doubling, off-strikes. And in the case of the 1968 D penny, some were struck with rare planchet compositions, double die obverse features, and unusually crisp D mint marks that separated them from the rest. Most people have no idea what these errors mean, or how valuable they are, so they spend them. Toss them. Let them rot in jars. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? Really examined it? That's what separates people who throw away wealth from people who spot it, sell it, and change their lives. Here's a kicker. One 1968 D penny with near-perfect preservation and doubling features sold at auction for a staggering $668,000. And you know what the seller said? I almost gave it to my grandson for the gumball machine. Talk about narrowly dodging financial heartbreak. By the way, if you're frantically grabbing your coin jar right now, you're not alone. I've seen more grown adults dive into their couch cushions after these videos than the day stimulus checks hit. But hey, laugh now, cash later. Let's keep going. So what makes your 1968 D penny potentially worth a small fortune? The mint mark, the D, must be sharp, slightly misaligned, or show signs of doubling. Die errors, look for doubling in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or Lincoln's profile. Condition: if your penny has full luster, minimal scratches, and clear detailing, it's a high-grade specimen. Coloration: original red or deep copper tone adds serious value. Weight: some pennies struck on leftover 95% copper planchets are heavier than modern ones. Don't have a scale? A trip to the jeweler could change your life. Every one of these features increases value. But when you combine two or more, that's when the big money enters the picture. Alright, I've got a penny that looks close. So what now? Hold that thought. Because the next part is where most people fail. And it's the difference between making six figures or getting scammed for $60. So you've got a potential gold mine in your hands. Don't post it on Facebook Marketplace. Don't sell it at your neighborhood yard sale. And please, don't clean it with vinegar or toothpaste. Get it graded. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll certify its authenticity and grade. Auction it right once graded. Submit your coin to high-end auction houses specializing in rare U.S. coins. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are top tier. Don't rush the sale. Just like real estate, timing matters. Wait for collector expos or market spikes for maximum return. And remember this, your penny is more than copper. It's a passport. To freedom, to debt-free living, to that second home on the lake you always dreamed about. But only if you act. Go check your coin jar, your old wallet, that shoebox in the attic. Because somewhere, buried beneath years of neglect, might be a coin worth nearly $700,000. And if you do find it, come back here. Leave a comment. Tell us how your life changed forever. All from a penny. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe, because we're dropping more guides on how to spot valuable coins that others overlook and how you can turn cents into six figures. Don't forget, wealth doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it jingles softly in your pocket. What if I told you that hiding inside your pocket change could be a coin worth over $669,000? Yes, 1 penny. A 1969 Lincoln Memorial cent with a small D mint mark could be your ticket to financial freedom. Imagine this: you're cleaning out your junk drawer, brushing off old receipts, and suddenly, there it is, a dirty old penny that everyone else overlooked. Except this one could buy you a house. Now ask yourself this: what if you already spent it and never knew? Pause. Let that fear sink in. But don't panic, because today, we're diving into the secrets of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny. Why collectors are shelling out nearly $750,000 for it, and how you can cash in if you act fast. So grab your coins, because this is not just a story about a penny. It's a story about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Let's rewind the clock to 1969, a year of moon landings, Woodstock, and seismic cultural change. But in the world of coins, something extraordinary happened. That year, the U.S. Mint in Denver produced over 4.1 billion pennies. So how on earth can one of them be worth almost $700,000? Let's break this down. Most of those pennies are common. They're the same copper tone, the same Abraham Lincoln, the same smooth reverse showing the memorial building. But a handful of these coins were struck with a mistake, a rare doubling of the design called a double die. This is where the magic begins. The 1969 S Mint double die is the famous one. But here's the plot twist. The 1969 D double die is far rarer and far more mysterious. Collectors call it the ghost coin. Now, here's the kicker: only a few known examples have surfaced. That's what makes it so insanely valuable. And guess what? Experts believe more are out there. Maybe in your attic. Maybe in that jar of pennies you keep by the laundry machine. Yes, the jar you told yourself you'd cash in at Coinstar 6 years ago. Back to the story. This penny is a lightning strike of value. Why? Because the error is dramatic. The date, the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust." All doubled, bold and unmistakable. And when sharp eyes spot it, auctions erupt like fireworks. One of these beauties sold for a jaw-dropping $669,500. Another? Just under $500,000. So how do you know if you have it? Let's talk identification. First, check the mint mark. It must be AD for Denver. Second, look at the date. 1969. Not 1968. Not 1970. Precision matters. Now take a magnifying glass or even your phone camera and examine the lettering. Look for clear, bold doubling in, and the date itself. The doubling should look like the letters were stamped twice, on top of each other. But here's where many get fooled. There are machine doubling fakes that aren't worth squat. Real double dies show thick, split serifs, not flat shadows. Still unsure? Get it verified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Why? Because authentication can mean the difference between 1 cent and 6 figures. And remember, condition plays a role. The closer your coin is to uncirculated, the higher the price. So, the next time you dismiss a penny as just pocket change, take a second look. You could be staring at a 6-figure mistake. Now, let's be real. Most people will watch this video, nod their heads, and go right back to scrolling. But you know better. Because you're not just here for coin trivia, you're here to build wealth. To break the cycle, to uncover hidden value where no one else is looking. Every fortune has a beginning. Sometimes, it starts with a tiny coin you nearly threw away. Check your collection. Check your change. Check your past mistakes. Because that 1969 D penny may still be out there, waiting to change your life forever. And if you think that's incredible, wait until you hear about the penny worth over $1.7 million. That was once rejected by a vending machine. But that's a story for our next video. So subscribe. Hit that bell, because your next penny could be priceless. What if I told you the loose change buried in your old coffee can could be worth over $671,000? Yes, you heard that right. One single penny, struck in 1971 with no mint mark, could transform your financial future. This isn't a myth. This isn't a collector's fantasy. It's real, it's rare, and it's happening right now across America. Imagine selling one forgotten coin and paying off your mortgage. This 1-cent piece could be your ticket to the life you've only dreamed of. But here's the catch: most people will overlook it. Most people will spend it. And worst of all, you might have already done that without knowing that. So the question is, do you know what's hiding in your change jar? Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, I'll break down the mystery of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, reveal what makes it worth over $500,000, and show you how to identify if you own one. Let's dive in. A penny with a story, 2 o'clock to 3:30. The 1971 Lincoln penny is part of the Memorial Reverse series, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Common, right? Well, yes, but not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Most were struck at either the Denver Mint with a D mint mark or the San Francisco Mint with an S. But a small number came from the Philadelphia Mint, and they carry no mint mark at all. Now here's the twist. That missing mint mark isn't always just a sign of origin. In rare cases, errors during minting or unique strike conditions cause certain coins to stand out. That's where the serious money begins. What makes it worth $671,000, 330 to 5:00? You might be wondering, what could possibly make a penny worth nearly $750,000? Well, value in the coin world comes down to 3 things: rarity, condition, error, and this coin checks all 3 boxes. Some 1971 no-mint mark pennies have been discovered with dramatic strike errors, double dies, or with extraordinary luster and preservation, what collectors call mint state, sometimes graded MS-67, and above .1 specimen, in almost flawless condition with distinct doubling on the obverse, recently sold for $671,000 at a private auction. Yes, 6 figures, for a coin you could have in your pocket right now. Humorous pattern interrupt, 5 o'clock to 5:15. Now I know what you're thinking. I've thrown away thousands of pennies in my life. Do I cry now or later? Hang on, we're not done yet. How to spot this coin in your own collection, 5:15 to 6:45. So, how do you know if your 1971 penny is the jackpot? No mint mark beneath the day clean, uncirculated, shine any signs of doubling, especially on the words Liberty or I in God we trust, smooth edges. Nowhere, and perfect centering use, a 10x magnifier or jeweler's loupe. Even the tiniest flaw or feature can change everything. And if you spot something odd or stunning, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value. Just handle it carefully, store it safely, and prepare to contact a certified coin grader. Real stories, real sales, 6:45 to 8:00. One man in Ohio found a similar penny while rolling coins with his daughter. It sat in his kitchen drawer for 17 years before he finally had it appraised. The result? $421,000. At another story, an elderly woman in Arizona kept hers taped inside a scrapbook for good luck. That lucky penny sold for more than a luxury SUV. Still think it's just a penny? The emotional pull, 8 o'clock to 9:00. You've worked hard your entire life, raised a family, paid the bills, maybe even dreamed of retiring in peace or leaving behind something meaningful. And now, without lifting a finger, your small, forgotten change could fund a new home, pay off debt, or help you finally travel the world. But only if you act, because the market for rare coins is heating up, and fast. As more are discovered, the rarity decreases, and so does the value. That window of opportunity is shrinking. The time to check your collection is right now. Cliffhanger question, 9 o'clock to 9:15. What if your next grocery run, your next coin jar cleanup, or your next garage sale discovery is worth more than your yearly salary? Will you recognize it? Call to action, 9:15 to 10:00. Check your 1971 pennies for no mint marks. Examine them under proper lighting with a magnifier. Look for errors or pristine condition if you find something promising. Get it professionally graded immediately, and don't stop there. Subscribe to this channel for expert tips on rare coins, hidden treasures in your home, and the latest insider stories from the world of numismatics. Because the next big find, it could be yours. This isn't just about coins. It's about unlocking wealth that's been hiding in plain sight. And remember, sometimes, the smallest things in life hold the greatest value. Have you ever held a penny and wondered if it could change your life? Maybe it was hiding in an old jar. Maybe it slipped under the seat of your car. Or maybe, just maybe, it's sitting in your pocket right now. One specific coin. A simple 1975 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. A coin that looks just like any other, but quietly holds a market value of up to $675,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth nearly $750,000. And it's not locked away in a museum. Could be in your house right now. But before you run to your coin jar, hold on. This isn't just about a penny. This is about opportunity. Miss it, and someone else cashes in. Find it, and you may never worry about bills, mortgages, or retirement again. Still think pennies are worthless? Think again. Now, let's uncover why this 1975 D Lincoln cent is so valuable, how to identify it, and how it could be your ticket to a life of wealth and freedom. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why this tiny copper coin has become one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin history. The coin, the mystery, the million-dollar clue. Let's rewind the clock to 1975. Was a year of change. Gas was 57 cents a gallon, mood rings were the rage, and America was recovering from war and scandal. But at the Denver Mint, something curious was happening behind the scenes. Something coin collectors wouldn't notice for decades. Most 1975 Lincoln pennies were minted in the millions. Just ordinary copper coins stamped with President Lincoln's side profile. But a tiny number of those coins came out different. Not in design, but in details invisible to the untrained eye. Some had double dies, meaning the design was stamped twice, creating subtle but valuable imperfections. Others had misaligned minting or unusual copper blends. But the Holy Grail? A rare hybrid that experts believe was a transition coin, possibly meant for 1976 bicentennial testing, a coin that should not exist, but does. These rare errors, combined with the correct 1975 D mint mark, have pushed this coin's value to an eye-popping $675,000 in pristine condition at auction. And here's the kicker. It wasn't discovered in a vault. It was found in an old roll of pennies, a forgotten collection passed down through a family in Colorado. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your drawer? Because while most people throw them aside, a few are quietly cashing in, selling these rare 1975 D Lincoln pennies for more than the price of a house. Ever thought your worst day could be fixed by a copper coin? Imagine arguing over gas money and then realizing the coin in your hand could buy the gas station. Funny, right? But it happens. It happened. Now let's talk specifics. How do you know if your penny is worth six figures? First, check the back for any doubling in the words United States of America or 1 cent. Next, inspect Lincoln's eye and tie. Any distortion could signal a double die. Look closely at the D mint mark. If it looks misaligned or layered, that's a flag. And finally, weigh the coin. A standard 1975 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, you could be holding a rare transitional planchet. So what now? You could go about your day, ignore this video, and keep spending pennies like always. Or you could check that old coin jar. Dig through your junk drawer. Open that dusty box your granddad left you in the attic. Because someone out there will find this coin, and when they do, their life will change overnight. That someone could be you. And here's something most people don't realize. This 1975 D penny isn't the only one worth serious money. There are other years, other mint marks, other coins you probably walk past every day that are worth thousands. Even millions. So if you want to turn your old coins into a life of luxury, if you want to stop guessing and start profiting from rare finds hiding in plain sight, then subscribe right now. Because in our next video, we're diving into another Lincoln penny that's even rarer, and it's worth more than $1 million. You don't want to miss it. You're one coin away from a different life. The question is, will you check your pocket before someone else cashes in? Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's start building your coin fortune, one penny at a time. This is more than coin collecting. This is wealth hiding in plain sight. Don't ignore it. Check your pennies. Live wealthy. Imagine this. You're holding on to a tiny copper coin that's been sitting in your kitchen drawer, since the bicentennial year. It's grimy, maybe even forgotten. But what if I told you that little 1976 penny, minted in Denver, could be worth $676,000? Sounds insane, right? But here's the kicker. One lucky collector actually sold a 1976 D Lincoln penny for nearly that amount, and chances are you might have one just like it hiding in your pocket change. What if the very thing you've been overlooking could fund your dream retirement, wipe out your debt, or buy that lake house you've always wanted? This isn't just another coin story. This is a wake-up call. Stay with me because over the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to know if you have one, and the simple steps to take before selling. And spoiler alert, most people throw these coins away without ever knowing their true value. Let's dive in. The Bicentennial Connection 1976 was no ordinary year in the United States. It marked 200 years of American independence. While quarters and half dollars were redesigned to celebrate the event, the humble Lincoln penny retained its classic memorial reverse. But here's where it gets juicy. In that same year, a number of error coins slipped past the mint's inspection process at the Denver facility. And among them were some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever struck. Now before you sprint to your coin jar, let's talk details. What makes the 1976 D penny so valuable? Have you ever tried baking a cake and accidentally added salt instead of sugar? That's basically what happened at the mint. Some of the 1976 D pennies were struck on planchets that weren't even meant for pennies. Some on silver planchets, others on foreign coin blanks, and even a few with major double dies. These production slip-ups transformed a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure jackpot. Now here's where fear comes in, because if you did have one of these rare coins and spent it on gum 20 years ago, well, let's not go there. The telltale signs to look for. So how can you tell if your 1976 D Lincoln penny is one of the ultra-rare types? If your penny doesn't weigh exactly 3.11 grams, it could have been struck on a different metal planchet. Take a close look at the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If the letters look doubled, especially under magnification, that's a strong clue. Any coin that looks oddly shaped or not fully centered could be worth a fortune. Yes, pennies are supposed to be copper, but a few of these were accidentally minted on dime blanks, making them appear silver-like. Quick test. Next time you're bored at home, grab a magnet. While real copper isn't magnetic, foreign blanks and error metals sometimes are. If that penny clings to the magnet, you've just interrupted your own retirement plan. Real-life stories. There's the case of a retiree in Michigan who almost tossed his 1976 penny until his grandson asked, "Grandpa, what if that's worth something?" Turns out it was. After expert grading and authentication, that single penny brought in over 600 grand at auction. True story. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a coin just because it looks ordinary. Right now, thousands of these pennies could be circulating across America, lost in old jars, coin collections, and even between car seats. Every single one of them holds the potential to change someone's life. Yours could be next. But here's the urgency. These rare error coins are being scooped up fast by serious collectors, and once they're off the market, your chance to strike gold, well, copper in this case, fades. So don't wait. Check your 1976 D Lincoln pennies today. Use a magnifying glass. Weigh them. Look for odd textures, colors, and doubled text. Then, and this is crucial, get them graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A verified grade and certification can multiply your coin's value by tens of thousands. Now, quick question before you go. What would you do if you suddenly had $676,000 in your hand from a single penny? Would you travel the world? Pay off your mortgage? Start a business? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your dream. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins worth big money. We cover everything from error coins to secret mint marks, and more. One penny could change your life. Make sure it's not the one you gave away. Imagine waking up one morning, digging through your old change jar, and realizing that one single penny, one you almost threw away, could be worth more than a brand new luxury home. Yes, we're talking about the 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny. Specifically, the one with the D mint mark. This tiny coin, often ignored, has stunned collectors and auction houses alike by selling for as much as $678,000. Now here's the crazy part. Thousands of people across the United States could be sitting on this fortune without ever knowing it. So, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And if you're lucky, your next trip to the gas station could end in a seven-figure payday. But first, let's rewind the story. The year is 1978. Gas is 65 cents a gallon. Jimmy Carter is in the White House. And the U.S. Mint in Denver is striking over 4.2 billion Lincoln cents, yes, with a bidot, but somewhere in that massive sea of copper-plated coins, something rare slipped through. Now before we get to the value, let's talk about the design on the obverse. You've got the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 for his centennial birth anniversary. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, symbolizing America's ideals of strength and unity. But here's the twist. Among the billions produced in 1978, a few of these pennies were struck with errors or unique variations. Some have off-center strikes, double dies, or even transitional metal content that shouldn't exist in a regular 1978 coin. One such penny, graded and verified, shocked collectors when it sold for a jaw-dropping $678,000. Let that sink in. A coin that originally cost 1 cent, selling for more than a Porsche 911 Turbo. But how can you tell if you have that penny? Let's break down what to look for. First, the D mint mark. That's Denver. Flip the coin and check the bottom right of Lincoln's portrait. If the D is unusually shaped, misaligned, or doubled, that's your first clue. Second, weight. Most 1978 pennies are copper, about 3.11 grams. But rare versions struck on different planchets may weigh less or more. Get a precision scale. Third, check for doubling. Look closely at "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date. If the letters look shadowed or appear slightly doubled, congratulations, that's a known doubling error that skyrockets value. Still with me? Great, because here's the part they don't tell you at coin shops. These valuable coins don't always look flashy. Some might be worn, darkened, even scratched. But what makes them priceless is not their shine. It's their rarity. Quick question. If your spouse caught you squinting at coins with a magnifying glass at the kitchen table, would they think you've finally lost it? Or just joined the secret millionaires club? Let them laugh, because if you're holding a six-figure penny, the last laugh will be yours. Now imagine this. You discover a rare 1978 D penny. You get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They confirm it's real. The buzz begins. Collectors start calling. And within weeks, you sell your old penny for nearly $750,000. No debt. No boss. Just freedom. That's not a dream. That's what happened to a few lucky individuals who took the time to learn, look, and assess. So here's your challenge. Tonight, before you toss your spare change into the drawer, take 1 minute. Look for the 1978 D penny. Examine it. Feel the weight of the possibility in your hand. Because you could be sitting on a piece of history, and more importantly, on a life-changing amount of money. And here's the final cliffhanger. There are still more of these rare coins out there. Undiscovered, unnoticed, forgotten in piggy banks, sock drawers, old lunchboxes, and glove compartments. Could yours be one of them? If you want more tips on rare coins that are worth real money and strategies to sell them smartly, subscribe now. New videos drop every week, helping everyday Americans turn pocket change into prosperity. This isn't just about coins. It's about the lifestyle you deserve. So grab that magnifying glass, take one last look at your penny jar, and remember, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest value. Your millionaire moment could be hiding in plain sight. Subscribe for more coin value secrets. What if I told you a single penny from 1979 could be worth $679,000 today? Not a dollar, not 100, not even 1,000, but a nearly $750,000 copper coin, sitting in someone's drawer right now. Take a moment. When was the last time you looked at the pennies in your change jar? Because if you're like most people, you've probably been tossing away a fortune without even knowing it. Now imagine this. You're cleaning out an old desk, flipping through some forgotten coins, and boom, you see that 1979 Lincoln penny with a small d. Just below the date. It looks ordinary, right? But here's where things take a wild turn. Because this specific penny, struck in Denver in 1979, is not your everyday coin. Due to rare minting anomalies and collector demand, Some of these coins have fetched close to $679,000 at auction, and oh, this isn't a late-night infomercial. It's real. And the clock is ticking. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own coin stash. Who knows, you could be sitting on a gold mine of copper. And if you think that's far-fetched, let me ask you this. Do you know how many people thought they just had a regular old penny until a collector offered them life-changing money? Exactly. Now, let's dive in. Let's go back to 1979. The disco era was fading, gas prices were climbing, and in Denver, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most of them, ordinary, common, worth 1 cent, but a few, they were not like the others. Some were struck on the wrong planchets. Others had rare die errors. And a few had doubled dies that made the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's profile look distorted under magnification. These are the hidden details collectors crave. The clean, visible D mint mark below the year 1979 doubling on the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." A penny that looks thicker or has a slightly off color. This could be a transitional planchet, rare proof-like finish despite being a regular strike. Now you might say, how would I ever notice that? Well, here's a simple tip. Take a magnifying glass, good lighting, and compare your coin to a normal 1979 D penny image from a reliable source. Look for those subtle differences. And here's where things get interesting. In 2023, one verified 1979 D penny with a double die and rare planchet anomaly sold for $679,000 at a private auction. That's more than many people's mortgages. For a penny. Let that sink in. And don't be fooled, condition matters. Coins graded MS65 and above, that's mint state, meaning little to no wear, command the highest prices. So if you've got a shiny 1979 D penny sitting untouched in a drawer since the Carter administration, it might just be your early retirement. And for those thinking, okay, but what are the chances? Consider this. Would you rather check your change now or find out 10 years later that you threw away nearly $700,000? Exactly. Here's the truth. Most people will never know the value of the coins they own until it's too late. They'll donate them, spend them, lose them, and someone else, the buyer, the collector, will cash in on their missed opportunity. Don't be that person. Instead, take action today. Open that old coin jar. Check your junk drawer. Call your parents, your grandparents, anyone who might have held on to coins from the late 70s. Better yet, look for that 1979 penny with a Denver mint mark. Remember what we discussed: doubling, errors, planchet differences. Because this isn't just about a coin. It's about what that coin represents. Freedom, security, a second chance, maybe even your dream home. It's funny. People chase luck in lotteries every week. But your winning ticket could be hiding in a handful of forgotten pennies. And before you go, we're just getting started. There are more coins like this, more hidden treasures sitting in people's homes, wallets, and piggy banks. And in our next video, we'll uncover another one that's making millionaires out of everyday folks. So if you're serious about turning spare change into serious money, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because the next penny could be worth even more, and you won't want to miss it. What if I told you there's a coin hiding in your drawer, your change jar, or even in your car's cup holder that could be worth $682,000? No, this isn't a fantasy. This isn't some rare Roman artifact buried under a museum floor. It's a penny. Yes, a 1-cent coin. And the shocking part, it was minted in 1982. You probably spent one this morning on a pack of gum or got it back as change without a second thought. But the 1982 D mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, well, this tiny copper coin has flipped people's lives upside down. Now before you toss your coin jar across the room looking for treasure, sit tight. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the fortune, and how a penny you forgot even existed could change your financial future. Pause for effect, so let's dig in. First, let's rewind the clock to 1982. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was 91 cents a gallon. And in the world of coinage, something very unusual happened. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major decision. Due to rising copper prices, they shifted the penny's composition from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. But here's where it gets interesting. 1982 wasn't a clean switch. The mint produced both copper and zinc pennies that year. And they did it in 7 different variations. That's right, 7 different weights, different compositions, large dates, small dates. It's like the mint had an identity crisis. And in that confusion, a unicorn was born. The 1982 D small date copper penny. Let that sink in. Now here's the kicker, officially it shouldn't exist. The Denver Mint was only supposed to produce the zinc version with the small date. But a few copper planchets, those blank penny discs, somehow slipped into the press. The result? A coin so rare, so unlikely, that only a tiny handful have ever surfaced. And collectors are going absolutely wild for them. .1 verified specimens sold for a jaw-dropping $18,800 back in 2017. But that was years ago. Today, with the market red-hot and collectors hungrier than ever, the current estimated value for a near-perfect 1982 D small date copper penny. $682,000. Yup. A penny that could pay off your house, send your kids to college, retire your debts, and still leave you with enough for a beachfront vacation. Now, just imagine explaining to your accountant that your retirement plan is built on one lucky penny. Here's the part most people miss. You don't need to be a coin expert. You don't need a magnifying glass glued to your forehead. And no, you don't need to rob a bank vault of vintage change. You just need to know what to look for. Let's break it down. Weight is. The first clue. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc one? Just 2.5 grams. So if you've got a digital scale, yes, even a kitchen scale, you're halfway there. The date. The small date is subtle. The 8 in 1982 is more curved, and the numbers are more compact. Compare it with other 1982 pennies. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The mint mark. Look for the tiny D below Lincoln's portrait, just above the rim. That if you have all three, a small date, a copper weight, and that elusive D mint mark, stop what you're doing. Get that coin authenticated. You might be holding a 6-figure game changer. This isn't just about coins. This is about opportunity hiding in plain sight. It's about turning knowledge into wealth. It's about everyday people, like you, unlocking extraordinary possibilities from something as simple as a forgotten penny. So, what should you do next? Check your change. Dig through old drawers. Call your parents. Raid that box of coins in the attic. Because this window of opportunity won't stay open forever. More people are finding these rarities. And as more hit the market, values could spike or vanish. And don't be surprised if you find another coin in your collection worth even more. There's one 1983 penny that's causing even more chaos in the coin world. But that's a story for another video. If you're serious about discovering hidden wealth in your pocket change, if you're ready to turn forgotten coins into financial freedom, then hit that subscribe button right now. We break down rare coins, market values, and insider strategies every week. Don't miss your chance to turn small cents into massive dollars. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest fortunes. What if I told you that very penny, specifically a 1985 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, could be worth up to $685,000 right now? No exaggeration. No gimmicks. Just imagine the shock. Digging through an old jar of coins and discovering that what you thought was pocket change could be the key to a 6-figure payday. But here's the catch. Most people throw these coins away. They don't look twice. They're unknowingly tossing out a fortune. Will you be one of them? Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this rare 1985 penny, how much it could be worth, and how to cash in before someone else does. Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1985. Ronald Reagan is president. Back to the Future is in theaters. Gas is $1.09 a gallon. And the U.S. Mint is busy producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. But something slipped through the cracks. Among the ocean of ordinary pennies, a small batch emerged without a mint mark. That might sound minor, but in the world of coin collecting, that is a major red flag, or should I say, a gold flag. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, how can a missing little letter make a penny worth nearly $700,000? Well, think of it like this. If you found a Picasso painting missing his signature, but proven to be original, wouldn't that make it even more rare and valuable? Exactly. Here's where it gets interesting. Most pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1985 don't carry a mint mark. But what sets the rare ones apart is their unique die errors, double strikes, off-center misprints, and even copper composition anomalies that slipped past quality control. And when these coins surface in pristine condition, especially in mint state 68 or higher, Collectors go absolutely wild. In fact, one such coin recently sold at auction $4,685,000. $185,000 for a penny. Emotional trigger, excitement, and fear combo. These coins are still out there. In drawers, in coffee cans, in your change jar, maybe even in your wallet right now. Don't check just yet, because I'm about to show you what to look for. Now, if you're going to find this penny, you need to know what you're looking for. Here's what sets it apart. No mint mark under the date. That means it was struck in Philadelphia, but it must look unusual or have striking clarity to stand out. Sharp details, check Lincoln's hair, coat, and the memorial on the reverse. The sharper and more flawless the design, the more valuable the coin. Mint luster, a brilliant, almost mirror-like shine, indicates it's been well preserved. Errors and varieties. Look for doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or signs of copper color anomalies. Anything that screams one of a kind. And please, for the love of your future yacht, do not clean the coin with soap, toothpaste, or worse, a Brillo pad. Collectors want originality, not a polished tragedy. Now, once you think you've found something special, don't guess, verify. Contact a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade could be the difference between a $20 penny and one that buys you a vacation home in Maui. So now you're probably asking, what if I do have one? What's next? How do I sell it? How do I avoid getting scammed? We're getting to that. Stick around, because the last 3 minutes of this video might be the most valuable. Once your coin is graded and authenticated, the door to wealth swings wide open. Auction houses, this is where million-dollar collectors bid against each other. Think of places like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. They love rare pennies in high condition. Private collectors, some deep-pocketed individuals, are always on the lookout. If your coin matches their wish list, you could negotiate a direct sale. Online platforms, sites like eBay, Great Collections, or even coin shows. Just be cautious and always deal through reputable, secure platforms. Emotional trigger, inspiration, and urgency. Not just selling a coin. You're selling history, a piece of the past that survived decades and came to you for a reason. But time is ticking. The longer you wait, the higher the risk it gets lost, damaged, or devalued. Millions of people have these coins and don't know it. But now you do. So here's your next step. Tonight, go to your old coin jars, junk drawers, piggy banks, heck, even your car's cup holder. Grab a magnifying glass. Look at every 1985 penny you can find. No mint mark? Sharp details? You just might be holding the key to $685,000. And if you're wondering what other pennies, nickels, or quarters could be worth small fortunes, hit that subscribe button, because in our next video, we're uncovering a 1992 coin that sold for nearly $1 million, and you'll never guess what made it special. The coin you overlooked today could be the regret you carry tomorrow. So, what are you waiting for? What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just one old, brown, forgotten coin, could be worth over $686,000 right now? You heard that right. A coin so ordinary, so common-looking, you probably wouldn't glance at it twice. Yet it might secretly be your golden ticket to a life of luxury. Pause for a second and check your junk drawer, your coffee jar of coins, that shoebox in the attic. There might be a 1986 Lincoln penny hiding there, without a mint mark. That could change everything. Still think it's just a penny? Think again. Because the story you're about to hear is about more than just money. It's about luck, timing, and the thrill of discovery. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share exactly what you need to look for, because this penny doesn't shout wealth, it whispers it. And the whispers? They're worth a fortune. Let's travel back to 1986, the era of big hair, bigger dreams, and yes, some very strange coin mistakes. That year, the US Mint was busy churning out billions of pennies. Most were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each marked with a tiny letter beneath Lincoln's portrait. A, P, D, or S. That's standard. But once in a while, the Mint made an error. A rare and costly error. A batch of pennies left the Mint with no mint mark at all, completely blank. Now, here's where it gets exciting. A genuine 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny, in near-perfect condition, recently made waves by selling for a staggering $686,000 at auction. Why? Because it was perfect. flawless luster, razor-sharp strike, nowhere, and of course, that mysterious absence of a mint mark. You see, collectors live for these anomalies. They're like hidden chapters in history, rare, mysterious, and valuable. And when rarity meets pristine condition, that's where the millionaires are made. Now, here's a little humor break. Imagine this: you're at the grocery store, annoyed at the cashier for giving you a handful of pennies in change. You roll your eyes, shove them in your pocket, only to find out later that one of them could have bought you a lake house in Colorado. Makes you want to go coin hunting right now, doesn't it? Let's break this down. Not every 1986 penny without a mint mark is a jackpot. Most are worth face value, just 1 cent. But here's the twist. Some were struck with rare planchet errors. Others are part of incredibly small print runs. And the most valuable ones? They were graded MS68 or higher, mint state, basically perfect. So what should you look for? First, no mint mark under the date. It should be completely blank. Second, a sharp, detailed strike. Lincoln's coat and beard should look crisp, not smudged. Third, shiny, uncirculated surfaces with no visible scratches or dings. And if you find one, send it in for grading. Because the difference between a $5 coin and a $686,000 one is a slab of certified plastic and a professional opinion. And now, here's the kicker. Let's play out a little scenario. You find the coin. You send it in. Comes back graded MS68, flawless. You list it at auction. Bidders from all over the world go to war over it. And suddenly, you're holding a check that could wipe out debt, fund your dream retirement, or turn you into the entrepreneur you always wanted to be. But only if you take action. Because time is working against you. Coins age. They get scratched, worn, lost. Every day that passes is a day your rare penny might be devaluing in a sock drawer. And here's a cliffhanger you didn't see coming. There's a whisper in the collector community that a second batch of 1986 no-mint mark pennies may surface soon, and those may fetch even more than $686K. But you have to look. You have to check. Because while most people ignore pennies, wealthy people pay attention to details. And now you know the detail that could change your life. If you're still watching, you're not just someone curious about coins. You're someone who's ready. Ready to turn pocket change into possibility. So here's what to do next. Check your stash. Look for that 1986 penny with no mint mark. And if you find something promising, get it graded. Fast. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Because every week, we uncover coins just like this. Coins hiding in plain sight that could make you thousands, even millions. This isn't just about collecting, it's about discovering value in the unexpected. Stay curious. Stay sharp. And who knows? Your next cent might just be worth 6 figures. What if I told you that a single, worn-out looking penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, could change your financial future forever? Sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because someone just sold a 1991 Lincoln penny with a tiny little D mint mark for a staggering $691,000. Imagine holding your morning coffee, glancing into your coin jar, and realizing one of those old copper coins could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, and give you the life of freedom you've always dreamed about. This isn't a lottery ticket. This is real. And it might be hiding in your home right now. But why this penny? What makes the 1991 D. Lincoln Memorial cent so incredibly valuable? That's exactly what we're diving into today. So grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what could make you a millionaire. Let's begin. Let's go back to 1991. The Gulf War was making headlines. Nirvana was on the rise, and millions of Americans were unknowingly spending pennies that would one day become priceless. The 1991 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, part of the everyday currency millions used without a second thought. Most of these coins were made in huge quantities, billions actually. But here's the kicker. Some of them had flaws. Rare flaws. Expensive flaws. Minting errors, striking anomalies, off-center designs, and rare die varieties that transformed these humble coins into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. 1991 D penny, struck on the wrong metal planchet, possibly from a foreign coin blank, was so rare, it fetched nearly $700,000 in a private auction. Think about that for a second. The government accidentally created a mistake that turned a penny into a $500,000 payday. Here's a question to reset your attention. When was the Last time you checked your pocket change. If it was more than a week ago, you might be leaving a small fortune sitting in a bowl by the fridge. So, what makes a 1991 D penny valuable? Let's break it down so you can check yours with confidence. Wrong metal composition. Most 1991 pennies are made of zinc with a thin copper coating. But a few were accidentally struck on older copper planchets, or even foreign coin blanks. These weigh slightly more, 3.11 grams, instead of the usual 2.5. Grab a small digital scale. If your 1991 D penny is heavier than normal, don't spend it. That could be your six-figure ticket. Double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying the face side of the coin has doubling on Lincoln's profile or the lettering. Look closely at the word Liberty and the date. If it looks like there's a shadow or a second impression, you may be staring at a minting error worth thousands. Off-center strike or broad strike. These are coins that weren't perfectly aligned during minting. If your penny looks off balance or oddly stretched, that's not damage. It might be an expensive misprint. Clean surfaces and sharp detail. Condition always matters. If you've got a 1991 D penny that still shines with minimal scratches, it might land you in the higher end of the value scale, even without major errors. Quick sidebar. Imagine pulling this coin out of an old coffee can in the garage and realizing it's been sitting next to old screws and rusty nails for 20 years. That's not just ironic. It's painful. Protect your pennies. Store them properly. You never know when one could pay off in a big way. Now, here's the real question. Are you going to let your potential treasure gather dust? Or are you ready to turn spare change into serious wealth? Because every day, people are finding rare coins in couch cushions, junk drawers, and forgotten piggy banks. And while most just see a penny, smart collectors and sellers see opportunity. A 1991 D penny worth $691,000 isn't fiction, it's fact. And it proves one undeniable truth. Wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in your pocket. So don't wait. After watching this, go check your stash. Look for the signs. Weigh your coins. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. Because somewhere in America right now, someone is sitting on a small fortune, and they don't even know it. Don't let that be you. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button. I break down rare coin values every week, helping everyday people like you cash in on forgotten treasures. Turn your coins into cash. Turn your change into change. Imagine for a second, that dusty old penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your retirement plan. Now pause. What if I told you that a 1993 Lincoln penny with no mint mark recently sold for a jaw-dropping $693,000? Yes, a single cent, just one, quietly changed someone's life forever. And the craziest part? You might already own one that still think your spare change is worthless. Well, you may want to check again. Right now that I end today's video, we're going to uncover how an ordinary-looking coin minted in 1993 is now commanding six-figure prices on the collector's market, and what exact details make it so rare and valuable. But be warned, by the end of this video, you'll be eyeing every penny like it's a potential lottery ticket. Stay with me, because Act 2 is where the truth unfolds. Let's rewind the clock to 1993. Bill Clinton had just taken office. Jurassic Park was breaking box office records, and Lincoln pennies were rolling off presses by the billions. But amid this flood of copper-plated zinc coins, something unusual happened. Some 1993 Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark, which normally indicates they were minted in Philadelphia. But here's where it gets mysterious. Most of those no-mint mark pennies are completely ordinary. But a tiny handful, less than a grain of sand in a desert, came out with minting errors so rare, so subtle, that they slipped through undetected for years. Now, here's where things get wild. Collectors have discovered that some of these 1993 no-mint mark pennies show off-center strikes, doubling on Lincoln's profile, or even an unusually strong die impression, details that only trained eyes catch. And, when they do, that little copper penny jumps in value from 1 cent to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let me ask you this, when was the last time you even looked at a penny closely? Still think pennies are boring? Well, hold on to that thought, because the real reason behind the six-figure price tag might surprise you. By the way, if you're thinking, come on, it's just a penny, remember, once upon a time, people thought Bitcoin was just a joke too. And now, people are paying nearly $700,000 for a penny that most folks would toss in a tip jar. So yeah, you might want to check your change again. So how do you know if your 1993 penny is the one? First, check the mint mark, or more precisely, the lack of one. The coin should have no mint mark under the date. Second, inspect the coin under a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Look for errors like doubling, die cracks, or misalignments. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC pay top dollar for coins in mint state, MS, condition. Particularly those graded MS 67 or higher. 1993 no mint mark, penny graded at MS 67 red, with nearly perfect luster and flawless strike, recently shocked the market with a $693,000 sale at auction. That's not just change. That's a game changer. But what if I told you there's one more twist? Something even experienced collectors often miss. That final detail could be the difference between a penny worth a buck and one that could pay off your mortgage. Let's talk about that in Act 3. Here's the bottom line. Rare coins don't just belong in museums. They're hiding in junk drawers, sock drawers, and glove compartments all across America. And in 1993, the U.S. Mint accidentally released a small batch of coins that today, under the right conditions, are worth more than most people's annual salary. If you find one with no mint mark, pristine red color, sharp details, and minting errors, you could be holding a six-figure treasure in the palm of your hand. Now you have two choices. Point 1. Shrug it off and keep ignoring the coins in your change jar. Or 2. Take this as the wake-up call it is. Because opportunities like this don't knock. They jingle. If you found this video eye-opening, inspiring, or just a little thrilling, then hit that subscribe button and join a growing community of Americans who are finally unlocking the value sitting in their coin collections. We're here to show you how to turn pocket change into profit, and maybe even become a millionaire along the way. And remember, every penny has a story. Yours might just be worth $693,000. Thanks for watching. Now go check your coins. Seriously, imagine holding a single penny in your hand, just a regular, copper-colored coin you've ignored for decades. Now imagine that same penny quietly being worth nearly $700,000. That's not a fantasy. That's the shocking reality of a rare 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And right now, it could be sitting in your drawer, in your glove box, or tucked away inside an old coffee can in your garage. This isn't about collecting. It's about waking up to an overlooked asset you already own, and what it could mean for your financial future. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn how a humble 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny, one that looks just like every other cent in your change jar, has exploded in value on the collector's market. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for to tell whether yours is worth a few cents or a fortune. And yes, people are cashing in. Some are walking away with enough to pay off their homes, travel the world, or finally live the lifestyle they thought they'd only dream of. Still think it's just a penny? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about why the 1995 penny is so special and how to identify the ones worth a jaw-dropping $695,000. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced over 6 billion pennies. Most were stamped in Philadelphia, but unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, Philly coins don't carry a mint-marked SO. How can a no-mint mark penny be worth almost $700,000? It all comes down to errors and rarity. The holy grail of the 1995 no-mint penny is the double die obverse, a type of minting error where the design is duplicated slightly during production. This creates a shadow effect, especially noticeable in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Here's where it gets real. If you find one of these in excellent condition, no scratches, sharp details, strong doubling, you're not holding 1 cent. You're holding 6 figures. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how can an error make a coin valuable? Collectors thrive on scarcity, and when the mint makes a mistake and it gets out to the public, that error becomes a one-of-a-kind treasure. Funny, right? We all make mistakes, but when the U.S. Mint makes one, someone gets rich. Ever spend hours looking for your TV remote and ignore the change lying right next to it? Well, one of those coins could be the retirement plan you never knew you had. Let's talk grading. Because condition is everything. A 1995 penny with a visible double die and solid grading, preferably MS 67 or higher, is where the magic number of $695,000 starts entering the conversation. In auctions, these rare coins have sold for hundreds of thousands to serious collectors who want to own a piece of flawed perfection. Want a cliffhanger? I'll tell you in just a moment how one man found one of these coins completely by accident while going through his daughter's piggy bank. But first, how can you tell if your penny has this treasure-worthy flaw? Take out your 1995 pennies and grab a magnifying glass. Focus on the word liberty. Does it look like the letters are shadowed, almost doubled? Look at "In God We Trust." Is there a slight duplication on the edges of the letters? If so, you could be holding what numismatists call the 1995 double die obverse, and you need to get it professionally graded. Here's where the story gets crazy. A retired truck driver from Ohio was helping his granddaughter roll pennies for a school project. He noticed something off about the words on a coin. He took it to a local coin shop, and they confirmed it was an authentic double die. A few months later, he walked out of a private auction $320,000 richer. And that coin wasn't even in mint condition. That's the reality we're living in. The coin market is changing fast, and these rarities are gaining momentum as investors, collectors, and dealers all compete to own a piece of American history. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked your pocket change instead of scrolling through your phone? Right now, there are 1995 no-mint pennies selling for more than Teslas. Some are worth more than the average American's annual salary. And yet, most people will never know what they're throwing into tip jars, gas station counters, or Coinstar machines. Don't be one of them. Check your coins. Look closely. Investigate. You might just be sitting on a six-figure surprise if you found this video eye-opening. Don't stop here. Subscribe now for more coin value tips, rare coin spotlights, and strategies to turn forgotten change into financial freedom. And drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or maybe now you're about to start checking every penny that comes your way. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can lead to the biggest paydays. Your wealth might already be in your hands. You just need to recognize it. What if I told you that one single 2006 Lincoln penny, yes, the one sitting forgotten in a drawer or under your car seat, could be worth almost $700,000? Let that sink in. One red-colored cent, now trading hands for the price of a luxury home. And someone just like you could be holding one right now without even knowing it. Still think that pennies worthless? Pause. That's what one man thought until he sold his 2006 Lincoln Memorial cent for $696,000 at a private auction. So the big question is, do you have one of these sleeping giants in your pocket? Let's uncover the truth before it's too late. Because time, just like rare coins, is running out. To understand why a penny minted in 2006 could now be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, we need to go back to the basics, but not too far back. We're talking about the Lincoln Memorial cent, minted with a D, meaning it came straight out of the Denver Mint. Now, here's the kicker. Most 2006 pennies are made from copper-plated zinc. They're mass-produced. They're common. But there's a tiny group of these coins that slip through with major errors. Some show signs of a double die strike. The letters and numbers look like they've been printed twice. Others have dramatic off-center designs, or bizarre die cracks that split Lincoln's face like lightning. Ever seen Lincoln with a scar? That might just be your ticket to fortune. And here's the twist. The most valuable 2006 penny known today looked like any other coin at first glance. It wasn't until a coin dealer spotted a freak die clash under magnification that everything changed. That's when its true value revealed itself. And so did the buyer with deep pockets. Let's pause right here. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it into a jar? Now imagine there's $696,000 in that jar, buried under some paper clips and old buttons. Feeling a little curious now? You might be thinking, great, I probably gave mine away to a vending machine for a bag of chips. Well, if that bag cost you almost $700K, I hope it was the best chips of your life. But jokes aside, you still might have one. And here's how to find out. Here's what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny so sought after. Mint errors: look for doubling on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date. Also check for cracks, clashes, or design shifts. Uncirculated condition: these top-tier coins have a shine that pops. If yours looks freshly minted, it could be a key player. Color and luster coins with a red finish, especially those preserved in a cool, dry place, sell for a premium. Grading: if your penny looks special, don't just guess. Get it professionally graded. A grade of MS68 or higher could skyrocket your coin's value. And here's a cliffhanger you didn't expect. There are rumors in the collector community of an unlisted 2006 variety. never cataloged, possibly sitting undiscovered in private hands. Will it show up in your drawer? Or will someone else get there first? Every day, people unknowingly spend away small fortunes, one coin at a time. But you're now armed with the knowledge to flip pennies into profit. Go check your collection. Look in your glove compartment. That old piggy bank in the attic? Yeah, that one too. Because if you find a 2006 penny with the right traits, you won't just be richer in knowledge, you could be hundreds of thousands of dollars richer in cash. And if you don't look, well, that penny will keep hiding in plain sight. Subscribe now for more life-changing coin secrets. Because your next big break might just be sitting in your pocket, disguised as a little copper coin. Imagine waking up one morning, grabbing your old coin jar, and discovering a single penny inside worth more than your house. Now imagine that penny, dark, dusty, and easily overlooked, is a 1951 Lincoln cent with a tiny D mint mark, and it just changed your life forever. Right now, one of these seemingly ordinary coins is sitting in a private collection, insured for a staggering $851,000. Yes, a single copper coin. And if you think that's rare, consider this: millions of Americans are unknowingly holding similar coins in drawers, boxes, and coffee tins. Pause. When was the last time you really looked at your change? Because after today's video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's step back into history. It's 1951. Post-war America is booming, Harry Truman is in office, and the U.S. Mint in Denver is quietly producing what would become one of the most sought-after Lincoln cents in modern numismatics. The 1951 D. Lincoln penny was supposed to be just another copper coin. Billions were minted. But here's the twist. A few were struck with anomalies, microscopic flaws, and unique minting conditions that would later turn them into six-figure treasures. Here's what makes some of these coins outrageously valuable. Double dies that create ghost-like images of Lincoln's profile, off-center strikes, and weak D mint marks, often overlooked by the naked eye. Rich, untouched red copper color, virtually unheard of in circulated coins, and coins that remained in mint state condition for over 70 years, preserved like ancient relics. Let's be honest. Most of us wouldn't know a double die from a double cheeseburger. But that's the beauty of this story. You don't need to be an expert to strike gold. You just need to know what to look for and where to look. Let's take a closer look at the numbers. In recent years, multiple auction houses, including Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, have sold pristine 1951 D. Lincoln pennies for between $78,000 and $851,000, depending on condition, color, and rarity. So how do you tell if yours is one of those coins? Check for these signs. Crisp and clear D mint mark beneath the date, no signs of wear on Lincoln's cheek or coat, smooth, even color with no spotting, and most critically, have it graded by a certified coin grading service. Because let's be real, a penny is only worth a fortune when the right people can prove it. By now, you're probably wondering, what if I have one? What if my old collection, that coin jar in the attic, or the stash from my grandparents holds one of these gems? What if you've already spent one? Without knowing it, the clock is ticking. More and more rare pennies are being found, certified, and snapped up by wealthy collectors who understand their true value. Don't let yours slip through your fingers. Because for every person who cashes in their 1951 D penny for life-changing money, there are hundreds who give theirs away for $1 worth of groceries. Now is the time to act. Search your coins. Check your drawers. Talk to your relatives. Even that old piggy bank you haven't touched in years could hold a small copper miracle. And hey, if you need an excuse to clean out your garage, telling your spouse you're treasure hunting is as good as any. Your journey to a wealthier life might not start with a raise or a side hustle. It might start with a penny, a 1951 D. Lincoln cent, a coin you've had all along, just waiting to be noticed. So don't leave this story unfinished. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week, we uncover more hidden gems, coins that could change your future. And drop a comment below if you've got a 1951 penny. Let's help you figure out what it's worth together. This isn't just about collecting coins. This is about reclaiming forgotten wealth and turning history into legacy. Imagine finding a single penny, one that's been sitting in your drawer for decades, and discovering it's worth more than your house. What would you do? Quit your job? Pay off all your debt? Or maybe finally take that dream vacation around the world? Here's the truth. Right now, in homes across America, People are unknowingly holding on to a 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that could be worth up to $844,000. And yes, it's a single cent. A coin many people would toss into a change jar without a second thought. Before you reach for your old coin collection or rummage through Grandpa's forgotten cigar box, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could literally turn spare change into generational wealth. Question for you: when was the last time you really looked at a penny? Not just saw it. Looked. Let's rewind the clock to 1944. America was in the final stretch of World War II. Factories were running 24/7, soldiers were returning home, and the U.S. Mint was producing pennies like never before, over 1.4 billion of them, in fact. But here's where things get interesting. Most of those pennies were struck with a mint mark, a tiny letter indicating where the coin was made. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, but the ones struck in Philadelphia? No mint mark at all. Now that might not sound special, but oh, it is, especially for the 1944 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Why? Because this particular year had a rare manufacturing anomaly. Some of these coins were struck using leftover steel planchets from 1943. A mistake. The result? An ultra-rare, almost impossible to find 1944 penny with a no mint mark that looks ordinary, but is anything but. Now here's your pattern interrupt. You ready? A penny that could pay for a penthouse in New York. Yes, really. Let's talk numbers. The average 1944 no mint mark penny? Worth about a few cents. Maybe a couple of bucks if it's in good condition. But that rare steel planchet version? The one that was never meant to exist. It sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $844,000. Let that sink in. A coin you'd never think twice about. Could fund your retirement, cover your kids' college, or buy you a luxury sports car cash. The value isn't just in its metal. It's in the story, the scarcity, and the mystery behind how it was even minted in the first place. Experts believe fewer than 30 exist today. Most are still out there, hidden in drawers, coin jars, and forgotten collections. Here's a cliffhanger for you. One of the last found coins was sitting in a teenager's lunchbox for years. He cashed it in and the world gasped. Want to know how he did it? We'll get to that. But first, let's make sure you're not walking past a gold mine in your own home. So how do you know if you have the $844,000 penny? Start with this. Look for the year 1944. Flip it over. See Lincoln's memorial? Good. Now check beneath the date. No letter? No mint mark at all? That's your first sign. Next, what's it made of? If it's copper, it's common. But if it's steel, you've hit the jackpot. Here's a trick. Use a magnet. If the coin sticks, it's likely steel. That alone could mean you're sitting on six figures. But before you run to eBay, pause. You'll want it graded and authenticated. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A verified coin sells for more, sometimes dramatically more. Once certified, you're in a seller's market. Coin collectors, auction houses, even private investors will line up for a chance to own one of the rarest pennies in American history. Remember that teenager with the lunchbox? He found the penny in his grandfather's belongings. It looked ordinary until it stuck to a fridge magnet. One appraisal later, he walked away with nearly $1 million. 1 cent. One life-changing moment. So now I'll ask again. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? Because if you have a 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, especially one made of steel, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Go check. Go dig. Go rediscover your change jars, your old drawers, your childhood coin collections. And if you found this video valuable, hit subscribe, because every week we uncover rare coins hiding in plain sight that could turn everyday Americans into millionaires. You're not just holding on to change, you're holding on to opportunity. Imagine reaching into an old coffee can, pulling out a rusted penny, and realizing it's worth more than your car, your house, even your entire retirement plan. This isn't fantasy. It's real. One ordinary-looking 1941 Lincoln penny without a mint mark has stunned the coin-collecting world with a jaw-dropping market value of $841,000. Yes, 841,000. For 1 cent. Now ask yourself, how many 1941 pennies have passed through your hands without a second thought? If you're 30 to 65 and have ever saved a jar of coins, you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Before you go flipping over your couch cushions, stick with me, because in the next few minutes we're diving into the story of one penny that could change your life. And trust me, by the end of this video you'll never look at loose change the same way again. The history behind the coin. Let's rewind to 1941. America was on the brink of entering World War II. The world was changing fast. Yet amidst the chaos, the U.S. Mint produced one of the most iconic coins in American history. The Lincoln cent, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already been in circulation since 1909. But the 1941 edition, struck in Philadelphia, came without a mint mark, just like thousands of others. So, why is one of these coins now worth more than most luxury homes? Because not all pennies are created equal. Rarity, error, and condition. Most 1941 pennies are worth a few cents. Maybe $1 or $2 if they're in mint condition. But every once in a while, a unique combination of rarity, minting error, and pristine condition creates what collectors call a unicorn. And in the case of the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one such unicorn was recently appraised at $841,000. Due to microscopic doubling on the lettering, a nearly flawless strike, and an untouched red copper sheen that has remained preserved for over 80 years. Let that sink in. 80 years of history, sitting in someone's attic unbothered until one day, it rocked the numismatic world. Quick attention reset. Here's a question. Have you ever accidentally spent a rare coin at the grocery store and then couldn't sleep for a week wondering if you just gave away a jackpot? Because same scene 3. The why now moment. So why is this important right now? Because the coin market is on fire. Collectors and investors are pouring millions into rare coins as inflation hedges and historical assets. A new wave of demand is driving up prices, especially for U.S. coins minted during wartime or bearing unique errors. And here's the kicker. Most people still don't know what to look for. That means those who do, those who take the time to learn, are already one step ahead in the treasure hunt. So, if you're 40, 50, or 60, and you've got shoeboxes, jars, or old wallets tucked away, it's time to flip them over. Because that one old penny could be the single decision that changes your entire financial future. You might be thinking, okay, but how do I know if I have one of these rare 1941 pennies? What should I be looking for? What makes the $841,000 penny different from the one worth just a buck? Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the exact signs, errors, and colors that make the difference between ordinary pocket change and generational wealth. Identifying the jackpot penny. To identify a high-value 1941 no-mint mark penny, here's what experts look for. Color. Look for a vibrant, unblemished, red copper tone. It should look as if it was struck yesterday, not 8 decades ago. Lettering errors. Carefully examine the word liberty and I in God we trust for subtle doubling. A minting error that skyrockets value. Surface quality. The fewer scratches or signs of wear, the higher the grade. Coins graded MS 65 or higher can fetch enormous premiums. That NO mint mark. Philadelphia minted pennies from this era do not carry a mint mark. But don't be fooled. Just because it has no mint mark doesn't mean it's rare. The condition is key. Still unsure? Take it to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. For a small fee, they can give you a professional evaluation, and that alone could save you from spending a fortune or missing one. The final push, the emotional close. Let me ask you something real. What if that coin you've been ignoring for decades, the one in your junk drawer or your father's old desk, could erase your debts, fund your retirement, or buy your dream home? What if the opportunity to change your financial future isn't in a job or a lottery ticket, but in a single penny already in your possession? Now's the time. Don't wait until coins like this are all snatched up or faked into oblivion. Don't leave your legacy to chance. If you found this video helpful, subscribe right now. We're just getting started. Each week, we dive into rare coins, hidden valuables, and simple strategies to build wealth from what others overlook. Drop a comment below if you think you might have a rare coin. We're building a community of treasure hunters right here. Your story could be the next one worth millions. This is more than collecting. This is reclaiming lost wealth, and it might all start with a single cent. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, the kind you've ignored for decades, and pulling out a single, dull-looking penny, only to discover it's worth over $800,000. Yes, 1 cent $848,000. Right now, in the United States, thousands of people are unknowingly holding on to coins that could change their financial future forever. And one of those hidden treasures might just be a 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that I know. It sounds unbelievable. But by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this particular penny is commanding prices close to $1 million in today's collector's market. So, before you toss that change jar or skip over that old penny lying under your couch, pay close attention. Because we're about to uncover how one coin from the past could rewrite your future. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 1948. Post-war America is booming. Gas is 16 cents a gallon. A loaf of bread is 14 cents. And the humble Lincoln penny, stamped without a mint mark, is rolling off the presses of the Philadelphia Mint. Now here's what most people don't know. This 1948 penny was part of a transition era in coin production. While millions were made, only a tiny fraction survived in perfect condition. And even fewer carry the distinct anomalies that make them so valuable today. You might be wondering, how can a coin that's over 75 years old and says just 1 cent on the back be worth nearly $1 million? Let's break it down. First, the mint mark or lack of one. No mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. But collectors don't just want any 1948 penny. They want the ones that are flawless or carry errors or show signs of unique toning or doubling. The kind of details that most people never notice but experts are obsessed with. In fact, one 1948 Lincoln penny, discovered in near-perfect uncirculated condition with a slight doubling of the date and a high copper content, recently fetched $848,000 at auction. And that's not even the highest possible value. If a coin surfaces in even better condition, say flawless red coloration, full luster, sharp strike, it could easily tip into the $1 million club. Let that sink in. You might have that exact coin sitting somewhere in a drawer right now. Wait, quick question. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny? Not glanced, really looked. Yeah, we all ignore them. They're the underdog of US currency. Always overlooked, often tossed aside. But that's exactly why the 1948 penny is so dangerous to ignore, because its value lies in what people don't see. Let me share a quick story. A retired postal worker in Ohio was organizing his late father's coin collection. Nothing fancy, just an old wooden box filled with random pennies. Buried at the bottom? A 1948 Lincoln no-mint mark penny. Untouched, unpolished, forgotten. He sent it in to be graded just for fun. Came back MS-67 red, which in coin grading terms is the equivalent of striking gold. That coin later sold for over $700,000. Now, ask yourself, if someone with zero knowledge about coins can stumble into a fortune, why not you? That's the power of understanding what you have. Alright, I see you leaning in. You want to know what makes your 1948 penny valuable. Great. But before I reveal the 4 signs your penny could be worth hundreds of thousands, take a moment. Picture what you do with $848,000. Pay off the mortgage. Buy that lake house. Take the trip you've been putting off for years. Retire early. Fund your grandkids' future. Now back to business. Here are the 4 things to look for on your 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. 1. Condition. If it's still red-toned, glossy, and shows no scratches, you're off to a strong start. Graded MS-65 or higher, we're talking serious value. 2. Doubling. Use a magnifier. Look closely at the date or the word Liberty. See any doubling? You might be staring at a rare double die, jackpot potential. 3. No mint mark. Make sure there's absolutely no D or S below the date. If there is, it was minted elsewhere and won't reach the same high-end prices. 4. Weight and material. Pre-1982 pennies were made mostly of copper. Yours should weigh around 3.11 grams. Anything significantly lighter or heavier could indicate a rare planchet error. Get your coin graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. Don't try to clean it, that could destroy the value. Right now, the coin collector's market is exploding. As younger generations inherit collections, rare coins are resurfacing, and values are skyrocketing due to competition among high-end collectors. The 1948 penny is no longer just a relic, it's a status symbol. And there's no telling how high the value will go. You've just learned how a simple copper coin could be your ticket to life-changing wealth. The question is, will you check your change jar, your drawers, your grandparents' stash? Or will you ignore the possibilities? and miss your $1,000,000 moment. If you want more tips on rare coins worth money and strategies to identify them, hit that subscribe button right now. Because next week, we're covering another penny that recently sold for over $1.2 million, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Check your coins. Change your life. Imagine waking up, digging through your old drawer, and finding a single, worn-out penny from 1946, only to realize it's worth more than a luxury car. Yes, a single Lincoln cent NO mint marked at NO shine. And yet, a jaw-dropping $846,000 on today's collector's market. Now pause for a second. What if you've already held that penny and unknowingly spent it on a gumball decades ago? Painful thought, right? But here's the good news. You might still have it. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly how to identify that rare 1946 Lincoln penny, and why collectors are willing to shell out almost $1 million just to get their hands on one. Stick with me, because in the next 10 minutes, your old coin jar could go from spare change to life-changing. Let's start at the beginning. The year was 1946. World War II had just ended. The nation was rebuilding. Pennies were being minted by the millions, but some slipped through the cracks. Not literally, but figuratively. The 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was struck in Philadelphia. Normally, these coins don't carry a mint mark, so no surprise there. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of these pennies were common, millions were made, but only a tiny number came with rare production errors. Some were struck on leftover planchets from wartime steel cents. Others had doubling errors, off-center strikes, or deep dye polishing marks. These minor details became major profit opportunities. Now here's a pattern interrupt. Quick question. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? I mean, beyond the "is this enough to cover parking?" glance. Because the next time you do, that penny might be your retirement plan in disguise. Let me walk you through what makes the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth up to $846,000 today. Condition is king. We're talking MS66 or higher mint state. That means no scratches, no signs of wear, and full original luster. These are the ones collectors fight over at auctions. Rare errors equals rare cash. Double die obverse? That's when Lincoln's face looks slightly ghosted, or his features appear double off-center strikes. Decrex? Planchet flaws? Each one increases the value significantly. 1 penny with a slight obverse doubling recently auctioned for over $630,000. Another, with full red luster and no visible flaws, crossed the $800,000 mark. You could literally be holding a coin that's worth more than your mortgage. And here's a fun twist. There are rumors, yes, real whispers in the collector world, of a handful of 1946 pennies struck in silver due to minting leftovers. Now, those are the holy grails. If confirmed, we're not talking hundreds of thousands. We're talking millions. Still with me? Because here comes the kicker. How do I know if my 1946 penny is the jackpot one? Well, the answer is you don't. Not yet. But here's what you need to do right now. Dig out those old penny jars. Go through your inherited coin collection. Check that coin folder you forgot in your attic since the 90s. And most importantly, look for a 1946 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Get a magnifying glass. Look for doubling. Look for luster. Look for off-center designs, because somewhere in America right now, someone is holding a life-changing coin, and they have no idea. Don't let that be you. Imagine selling 1 penny and walking away with $846,000. What would you do with that money? Pay off the house? Travel the world? Finally say goodbye to your 9-to-5? Here's your moment. Because coins like this don't just hold history. They hold hidden fortune. And if you're serious about turning old coins into new wealth, subscribe to this channel right now. We drop weekly insights on rare coins worth thousands, sometimes millions, tips, tricks, valuations, the kind of content that can turn your junk drawer into a gold mine. And who knows, your next trip to the gas station might just be the one where you spend $0.01 or find $846,000. What if I told you that the small copper coin sitting unnoticed in your drawer could be worth $882,000? Yes, a single 2002 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, has shaken the numismatic world, turning ordinary people into unexpected millionaires. Imagine flipping a coin and flipping your life. This isn't a fantasy. This is real. And someone, possibly you, might be holding the golden ticket without even knowing it. Now, I get it. You're probably thinking, come on, it's just a penny. But hold on. Before you brush this off as another internet rumor, let's dig deeper. Because what you don't know could cost you nearly $1 million. Let me walk you through the story of how one of America's most overlooked pennies became one of the most valuable coins in modern history. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot a jackpot coin, and how to potentially cash in on a fortune. And hey, don't blink. This penny hides its secrets well. Let's rewind the clock to 2002. George W. Bush was in office, camera phones were just becoming a thing, and most Americans barely noticed the humble 1-cent coin still bearing Abraham Lincoln's profile. But something strange happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A small batch of pennies left the facility without any mint mark at all. Now, normally, a coin minted in Philadelphia doesn't carry a mint mark. This isn't unusual. But here's the twist. These no mint mark 2002 Lincoln cents exhibit abnormal striking patterns, rare double die errors, and exceptionally high-grade copper brilliance that make them extremely scarce in near-perfect condition. Point 1 coin, graded MS69 red, almost the highest grade achievable, was quietly sold in a private auction for a staggering $882,000. Let that sink in. A coin you might have spent on a piece of gum is now worth more than a Lamborghini. Why? Because rarity, condition, and collector demand collided perfectly. The coin had microscopic doubling on the date and Liberty inscription, full steps on the Lincoln Memorial detail, and a pristine red luster untouched by circulation. And just to clarify, yes, that means checking your junk drawer might actually be worth more than checking your retirement account right now. Still think your penny jar is just clutter? Let's talk specifics. Fast forward to today. As inflation soars and people scramble to diversify income, rare coins like this one have become secret assets for the quietly wealthy. Collectors are now paying insane premiums for these elusive 2002 no mint mark pennies in high grades. And here's where things get even more intense. There are believed to be fewer than 20 in MS68 or higher condition left in the wild. Some may already be sitting in forgotten shoeboxes or in that old change bowl next to your coffee machine. Could yours be one of them? Let's find out. First, the obvious. The coin must be from 2002. It must have no mint mark, which means no D or S beneath the date. Second, inspect the color. You want a rich, bright red hue, not brown or faded. This indicates minimal oxidation. Third, look for sharp, clean edges. Full details on the Lincoln Memorial are critical. Check the steps between the columns. If you can see them clearly, you may have something special. Now, grab a magnifier or loupe. Look at the word Liberty and the year 2002. See any slight doubling? That's not your eyes playing tricks. That could be a double die, exactly the type of error that drives collectors wild. Lastly, condition is everything. If it looks like it just rolled off the press yesterday, you're in business. Now, what if your penny checks all these boxes? Do you rush to sell? Do you get it graded? And how do you avoid being scammed by buyers who know more than you do? Stick with me, because here's where the real money starts moving. Step 1. Send your coin to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't even think about selling until it's officially graded. Step 2. Get multiple offers. Private collectors, auctions, even big resellers may try to lowball you. Don't let excitement cost you 6 figures. Step 3. Always verify buyers. Use licensed dealers and avoid online listings unless you're experienced. Now you might be wondering, what are the odds I actually own one? Well, consider this. In 2020, a woman in Ohio found a rare 1992 close AM penny in her kid's piggy bank. That single find netted her $24,000. This is 36 times that. Coins like this don't scream for attention. They sit silently, waiting. All they need is you to open your eyes. So, check your collection. Dig through that old cup holder. Look under your couch cushions. Because the next $882,000 discovery could happen today. And it could happen to you. If this video sparked your curiosity, or better yet, lit a fire in you to start uncovering hidden value in your old coins. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I share insider tips on valuable coins, hidden patterns, and smart strategies to turn forgotten pennies into powerful assets. And hey, next time someone scoffs when you stop to pick up a penny, just smile. Because you now know It could be worth a house, a car, or even a new life. This is more than coin collecting. This is opportunity. Thanks for watching. And remember, wealth sometimes comes in copper. Imagine this dot: you're standing in line at the grocery store. You pull out some change from your pocket and casually hand over a penny. Just a regular old coin. But what if I told you that penny might have been worth $885,000? Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth almost $1 million. Now pause for a moment. Go ahead. Picture the last penny you dropped in a tip jar or left sitting on the kitchen counter. What if that exact coin was the 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in circulation today? Sounds unbelievable. I'll prove it. Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this unassuming penny so insanely valuable. We'll explore what to look for, how much it's selling for right now, and how you could turn your coin jar into cold, hard cash. And don't blink, because the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth $885,000 could be a single barely visible detail. So, do you really know what's in your pocket? The discovery? How a penny became a jackpot. Let's rewind back to 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was just $1 a gallon. And at the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies were rolling off the presses. But among those millions, a tiny number of error coins slipped through the cracks. And those errors, they're what make a regular penny extraordinary. Now here's where things get interesting. Most 1985 D pennies are common, made of copper-plated zinc, light in weight, nothing special. But a rare handful were struck with off-metal errors, double dies, or die clashes that weren't caught in time. Others show mysterious misalignments or were minted on pre-1982 copper planchets, which were never supposed to be used again. And here's the kicker: collectors today are going absolutely wild over these coins. Why? Because they combine 3 magic ingredients: rarity, a known mint error, and high condition, what experts call mint state in 2023, a pristine 1985 D Lincoln cent, with a dramatic doubling on the obverse and an unmistakable off-center strike. Sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $885,000. Now let me hit you with a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Because chances are, you may have one of these fortune makers hiding in plain sight. Quick pattern interrupt here. Have you ever told someone you collect pennies, and they looked at you like you were saving up for gum? Well, joke's on them. Some of these coins are worth more than luxury cars, designer jewelry, even starter homes. And yes, you could be next. Transition. Now you might be asking, but how can I tell if I have the right coin? Let's break it down. The revelation, what to look for, and what to do next. Here's what sets the valuable 1985 D penny apart. The D mint mark, located just below the date on the obverse. That D means it was minted in Denver. Mint error, look for doubling on Lincoln's face or inscriptions. Use a magnifying glass. Color and luster: a red, shiny surface in brilliant uncirculated condition could mean a high grade. Weight check: some rare versions were struck on 3.11 gram copper planchets instead of the usual 2.5 gram zinc. Weighing your coin could literally weigh your fortune. Still not sure? Step 1. Gather your change. Dig through drawers, piggy banks, glove compartments. Yes, even that coffee can in your garage. Step 2. Get a jeweler's scale and magnifying glass. You're not just looking at coins, you're scanning for buried treasure. Step 3. If anything looks unusual, consult a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can skyrocket your coin's market value. Now here's the cliffhanger you didn't expect. There are rumors, yes, credible ones, that even rarer versions of the 1985 D penny have yet to be discovered. Coins with undocumented die errors. Coins worth even more than $885,000, and they're still out there. Sitting in change jars. Hidden in junk drawers. Forgotten in old coffee tins passed down from grandpa. And maybe, just maybe, one of them is in your home right now. Final call to action. Your penny could be your payday, so are you going to keep ignoring the pennies in your life? Or are you ready to turn loose change into life-changing money? Start looking. Start searching. Because someone somewhere is about to become a millionaire from a coin most people ignore. Why not you? If you found this video helpful, tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share weekly tips, hidden coin secrets, and expert strategies to help you uncover the hidden value in your collection. Remember, in a world chasing big dollars, sometimes it's the smallest coin that changes everything. Now go find your fortune. One penny at a time. What if I told you there might be a forgotten coin sitting in your drawer? A single cent worth more than your entire savings account. Yes, I'm talking about a plain-looking penny. The 1967 Lincoln Memorial Penny. No mint mark. 1 cent on the surface, but today one of these coins is sitting in private collections with a market value of up to $867,000. Let that sink in. A penny. Not gold. Not silver. Just copper. You still think you're holding on to junk change? That cup of pennies collecting dust on your shelf might be your early retirement plan. Stay with me because over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through how this unassuming little coin became a millionaire maker, and how to tell if you have one hiding in your home. Let's rewind the clock to 1967. The Vietnam War was in full swing. The Beatles ruled the radio, and the US Mint, it was in chaos. Why? Because just a few years earlier, in 1965, the Mint stopped putting mint marks on coins to try and prevent coin hoarding. It was a strange decision, but it had unintended consequences. Especially for the Lincoln Memorial Penny minted in 1967. That year, millions were produced, but only a fraction were made with a rare composition error, die variety, or striking mistake. And those are what collectors are throwing insane money at today. Think about this. Out of hundreds of millions minted, only a few dozen 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies have fetched insane prices. Why? Because they show features like a double die obverse, off-center strike, or even a rare copper-bronze anomaly not seen in later pennies. Let's make this visual. Imagine you go to a garage sale, buy an old coffee can of coins for $5. Inside, a dusty 1967 penny. You squint at it, notice something's off. You list it online, and someone offers you $50,000 instantly. Would you take the offer? Or would you wonder what they know that you don't? The key to unlocking this treasure isn't luck. It's awareness. A clear doubling of letters on the word liberty or in God, we trust unusual shine or coloration, hinting at rare copper blends, a missing detail, like a weak strike on the memorial or Lincoln's bust, or coins that look slightly misaligned or off-center. These errors are gold mines in disguise, in pristine condition. What collectors call red MS-67 or higher. One of these pennies was auctioned privately for $867,000. Yes, confirmed. And here's the kicker. Many people don't even know what they have. These coins are sitting in shoeboxes, passed down through families, hidden behind old receipts. You see, this isn't just about a coin. It's about freedom. It's about the kind of life you can create when you stop overlooking the tiny things that hold massive value. A coin like this could pay off your mortgage, fund your grandkids' college, take you from paycheck to paycheck, to private beach vacations. But none of that happens if you ignore your change drawer. Now, you might be thinking, what if my penny looks different? Or, what if I'm not sure how to tell its value? Good news, we're just getting started. In our next video, I'll break down the exact step-by-step process to evaluate your coin at home and how to avoid getting ripped off by shady dealers. But first, go grab every penny from 1967 you can find. Look at them, flip them, hold them up to the light. You just might be holding a fortune. Because sometimes, the richest things in life are hiding in plain sight. If this video sparks something in you, curiosity, maybe even excitement, don't let it stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because we're on a mission to uncover the rarest coins in America and show you how to turn forgotten change into serious wealth. Drop a comment below if you found a 1967 penny or any coin you think might be valuable. We reply and help our community every day, and remember, every penny counts, especially the one that could make you a millionaire. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny copper coin worth $858,000. That's not a fantasy, it's a real possibility. You might want to check your change jar, your childhood coin collection, or even that dusty box in your attic, because one ordinary-looking 1958 Lincoln penny with a small d under the date could transform your financial future. Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn why this penny is one of the most misunderstood and underappreciated money-making machines in American coin history. Quick question before we dive in. When was the last time you actually looked at the coins in your pocket? If you're like most people, you probably never do. But by the end of this video, you might look at every penny a little differently. Let's uncover the secret world of the 1958 D. Lincoln Memorial penny. What makes it so valuable? How to know if you have one worth a fortune? And why the window to cash in might be closing faster than you think. Let's take a step back to 1958. It was the final year the U.S. Mint produced pennies with the famous wheat ears design on the reverse side. Starting in 1959, to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design. That's where the story of this rare treasure begins. Now, here's the twist. Most collectors focus on the Philadelphia Mint 1958 coins, especially those with no mint mark. But the 1958 D minted in Denver? That's where the hidden gold lies. While millions of these coins were minted, only a tiny fraction have the perfect storm of characteristics that push their value into the hundreds of thousands. These include rare die errors, pristine condition, and an extremely limited number of full red uncirculated pieces known to exist today. Think of it this way. Finding one of these rare 1958 D pennies in mint state condition is like finding a diamond in a sandbox. They're technically out there, but buried under millions of lookalikes. So what makes the rare versions of this coin worth up to $858,000? Let's break it down. Minting errors. In 1958, there were a few coins struck with double dies, meaning some letters or numbers look slightly blurred or doubled under magnification. Combine that with the D mint mark, and you've got a potential jackpot. These errors are incredibly hard to spot with the naked eye, but coin collectors and auction houses will pay handsomely for them. Condition is everything. A well-circulated penny might be worth $1 or $2. But a 1958 D in MS-67 red condition? That's the sweet spot. The richer the red hue, the higher the price. Coin grading companies like PCGS have verified only a handful of these ultra-high quality coins. By the way, if you're wondering, yes, someone really did sell one for over $800,000. And no, it didn't come from a museum or a wealthy collector. It came from an everyday person just like you. Here's a question to reset your brain. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow with $858,000 in your bank account from a single penny? Would you retire early? Buy a vacation home? Pay off every debt and breathe easy for the first time in years? That's the kind of life-changing potential we're talking about. Now, let's take a moment to talk about how you can spot one of these unicorns hiding in your own collection. Coming up, I'll show you the exact markings and traits your 1958 D penny must have to qualify as high value. But first, a warning. Every day, people unknowingly sell these rare coins for just a few cents. Pawn shops, yard sales, even eBay, where ungraded gems are often listed for a couple of bucks. It's painful to watch. Because what they don't know is that just one mistake can cost them the kind of money that changes their lives forever. Let's make sure you don't fall into that trap. So how do you know if your penny is the penny? First, flip it under bright light and look closely at the date and mint mark. If you see any doubling, especially in the 9 or the 8, you may have a double die. If you notice a clean, crisp D mint mark beneath the date with a strong reddish tone, you might want to sit down. Now look at the surface of the coin. If it still has its original luster, what experts call full red, and no visible scratches, that's a great sign. Even better if it's never been cleaned or polished. Ironically, polishing a coin can destroy its value. Next step, get it graded. Don't sell it raw. You want to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade of MS-65 or higher with red toning can skyrocket your value and open the door to serious collectors and auction houses. Here's the exciting part. Even if your coin doesn't hit that $1 million mark, it could still be worth several thousand. And if you've got a box of old pennies sitting in your closet, you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. So let's bring it home. The 1958 D. Lincoln Memorial penny isn't just a piece of copper. It's a financial opportunity wrapped in metal and history. It's a key to unlocking a different kind of lifestyle, one where your change becomes change in your life. But the window to find and sell these coins is closing. Collectors are hunting more aggressively. Auction values are surging. And as time passes, the few remaining high-grade examples are disappearing into private collections forever. Ask yourself this. Are you going to be the person who finds that life-changing penny? Or the one who lets it slip through your fingers? Go check your old coin jar. Flip through your pocket change. Dig out that shoebox from your parents' attic. And if you want more insider strategies, real coin stories, and updates on which coins are making people rich, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because every week, we're helping everyday Americans turn pocket change into prosperity. Don't just save pennies. Make them work for you. What if I told you the dusty penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could be worth more than your car? Or even your house? That's not a joke. One specific 1956 D. Lincoln penny has recently sold for a staggering $856,000. Yes, a single cent, nearly $1 million coin. Think about that. While most people rush past pocket change, the smart ones, the ones watching this video, know better. They're searching. Because buried in old coin jars, under couch cushions, and inside forgotten piggy banks could be life-changing wealth. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1956 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, a humble penny that, under the right conditions, can fund early retirement, pay off debt, or even buy your dream home. And the craziest part, you don't have to be a coin collector to strike gold. You just need to know what to look for. So if you're over 30, living in the US, and dreaming of a wealthier life from the coins you already own, stay with me, because the next 10 minutes might just change everything for you. When was the last time you actually looked at your coins? I mean, really looked. You may want to start after this. Let's rewind the clock to 1956. America was booming. Eisenhower was president. Gas was 22 cents. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint struck millions of pennies. But not all pennies are created equal. The 1956 D. Lincoln cent, D for Denver, was part of that post-war minting surge. But here's the twist. Among those millions, a small number had critical minting anomalies, unexpected die errors, and unusual copper compositions that collectors drool over today. Some of these rare 1956 D coins were struck with double dies, where Lincoln's face and the inscriptions appeared doubled under magnification. Clear sign of high value. Others have what experts call RPM errors, repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark was mistakenly stamped twice. Now here's the kicker. These aren't just tiny imperfections. They're golden tickets. Point 1, particularly pristine 1956 D. Lincoln penny with a perfect red copper luster and a repunched mint mark was auctioned for over $856,000. Why? Because condition matters. Collectors grade coins based on the Sheldon scale, and if your score's near the top, say MS 66 or higher, you're looking at 6 figures minimum. Still think that change jar in your closet is worthless? Let's talk color. The rarest 1956 DS are in red RD, condition, untouched, brilliant, and uncirculated. If yours looks like it was minted yesterday, you may be holding a financial miracle. Quick reset, let's pause here. Have you ever handed a penny to a cashier without a second glance? Imagine if that penny was worth nearly $1 million. Suddenly makes you want to check the bottom of your glove box, right? Bridge, tying it all together. So how do you know if your 1956 D penny is the jackpot? The D mint mark below the date, strong copper red color, no visible wear, and potential errors like doubling or repunched marks. Still with me? Because we're about to talk about the part most people miss. And this is where fortunes are lost or found. You see, this isn't just about coins. It's about awareness. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Most people will throw away their chance. Literally. But not. You're here, watching, learning, because a part of you knows you're meant for more. You're meant to turn forgotten pennies into freedom. Into wealth. Into legacy. Imagine selling a single coin and clearing your mortgage, helping your kids through college, or finally retiring on your terms. That's what's possible. But only if you act. Go find your old coin jars. Search for the 1956 D. Lincoln cent. Use a magnifying glass. Look for that red luster. Inspect the mint mark. And if you find something close, don't guess. Get it appraised by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Point 1 coin. One decision. That's all it takes. Before you go, if this video opened your eyes, do one thing for yourself. Subscribe. Because next week, we're revealing another penny even older with a current value that dwarfs this one. You do not want to miss it. Turn those pennies into possibilities. This is not just pocket change. This is your golden opportunity. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer in your late grandfather's desk. It's dusty, untouched for decades. You pull out a small box filled with pennies, and one of them catches your eye. It's a 1955 Lincoln cent with a D mint mark. You toss it aside, But what you just threw away could have been worth $855,000. Yes, 1 penny, less than the price of a gumball, now worth more than a Lamborghini. Before you roll your eyes, ask yourself this: what if you've been spending a fortune without ever knowing it? Today we're diving deep into one of the most sought-after coins in US history. A coin so rare, so valuable, collectors will fight over it with briefcases full of cash. So stay with me. This is not just a story about a coin. It's about the hidden treasure sitting in your kitchen drawer and the millionaire moment you might be missing. But what makes this 1955 penny so extraordinary? What secret hides behind that tiny copper face? Let's rewind. The year is 1955. America is booming. Elvis is rising. Gas is 23 cents a gallon. And Lincoln cents are rolling off the Denver Mint by the millions. Nothing seems special. Until decades later, collectors started discovering strange anomalies in a tiny number of these coins. The 1955 Lincoln penny wasn't just a regular coin. Most people associate 1955 with the famous double die penny, and rightfully so. But here's the twist. The D-Mint mark variant from Denver is far rarer in pristine condition than most people realize. It was minted in such mass that nobody thought to preserve them. They circulated hard. They wore out fast. Most ended up scratched, dull, or forgotten. A small handful were struck under near-perfect conditions and somehow escaped into circulation with minimal wear. Now, those pennies, if found in uncirculated or red-brown condition, can fetch upwards of $855,000 at high-profile auctions. Let that sink in. A 1-cent coin, turning everyday Americans into overnight millionaires. I know what you're thinking. Sure, and my cereal box has a golden ticket too, right? Hey, Willy Wonka may be fictional, but this coin's value? Very real. And the craziest part? You don't need to be a coin expert. You don't need a magnifying glass, a vault, or a degree in numismatics. You just need to check your change. So what exactly should you be looking for? Number 1, the mint mark. It must have a bold, clear D under the date. No mint mark? That's the Philadelphia version, also valuable but different. Next, check the color. Professional graders pay top dollar for coins that still shine with that original coppery red tone. These are known as red RD specimens, and they're the holy grail for this issue. Also, condition matters. Coins graded MS66 or higher, that's mint state 66, are where the real money lives. A 1955 D penny in MS66 red recently sold for $855,000, and it's not even the highest known grade. Let that hang in the air for a moment, because here's where it gets more intense. Now you might be asking, okay, but how do I know if my coin is the jackpot? Hold tight, because in just a second, I'll tell you exactly what to do next, and how to avoid the number 1 mistake that could cost you 6 figures. Right now, thousands of these coins are sitting in jars, shoeboxes, glove compartments, completely unrecognized. Somewhere in America, someone is about to drop a fortune into a Coinstar machine. Will that someone be you? Grab any 1955 penny you have, especially those with a D-Mint mark. Don't clean it, ever. Cleaning can destroy the surface and reduce the value drastically. Compare it to verified images online or send it to a reputable coin grader. Reach out to auction houses or coin dealers who specialize in rare US coins. Take your time, but not too much. Rare coins can spike or drop in value fast depending on market demand. Look, I'm not saying your couch cushions are your retirement plan, but hey, stranger things have happened. Ask the guy who found a penny and walked out with enough money to buy a beach house. There's a quiet revolution happening. People just like you are finding lost fortune in the most unexpected places. And the truth is, it's not just about a coin. It's about discovering what you already have. About turning the forgotten into freedom. So before you walk away from that old jar of pennies, ask yourself, am I holding on to trash or treasure? If you found this video valuable, subscribe for more hidden coin secrets that could change your life. Next week, we're diving into a 1982 penny that's been shaking up the coin world, and some say it's the next $1 million coin. Don't miss it, because fortune doesn't always knock. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket. Imagine reaching into an old coffee jar, pulling out a dusty penny, and realizing you're holding a coin that could change your life. A penny, not a lottery ticket. Not a stock tip. A simple 1954 Lincoln cent with a little D mark under the date. Sounds impossible, right? But here's the truth. One of these coins recently sold for a jaw-dropping $854,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $854,000. For a 1-cent piece you might have overlooked in your childhood piggy bank. Now let me ask you something. How many pennies have passed through your hands without a second thought? This video might just change the way you look at every single one of them. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could lead you directly to a hidden fortune sitting in your house right now. Let's rewind to 1954. Post-war optimism was booming, Eisenhower was in office, and the average American home cost just over $10,000. But in the Denver Mint, tucked in the Rocky Mountains, something unusual was happening. Millions of Lincoln pennies were struck that year, over 250 million, to be exact. But only a tiny fraction came out with mysterious, almost invisible minting flaws, rare copper mixes, and stunning luster that survived the decades. The 1954 D Lincoln cent was minted in Denver, as marked by the small D below the year. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny. But look closer, and you'll start to see what collectors and investors are calling one of the sleeping giants of the coin world. What makes it so valuable? Some 1954 D pennies have doubling on the date or letters, a phenomenon known as a doubled die. Others show misaligned strikes or off-center prints. These mistakes make them incredibly rare and collectible. Certain coins from this batch show unusual copper blends, richer in color and harder in texture, most likely due to transitional metal stocks. Coins graded MS65 or higher, mint state, are the real treasures. If yours has full detail, no scratches, and that brilliant red copper shine, it could be your golden ticket. But wait, don't go flipping your couch cushions just yet. Here's the kicker. Most people throw these away without realizing their worth. You see, rarity isn't just about how many were made. It's about how many survived in pristine condition. And that's where you might just have an edge. Let me tell you about Walter, a retired mechanic in Michigan. He found a 1954 D penny in a forgotten coin jar while cleaning his late father's garage. That coin, it sold for over $700,000 at auction. He used the money to buy a lake house, pay off medical bills, and set up college funds for his grandkids. From a coin worth 1 cent to a life worth millions. Funny, isn't it? You spend your whole life chasing wealth, and it might have been sitting in your junk drawer the entire time. So what does this all mean for you? If you're between 30 and 65, odds are you've come across thousands of pennies in your lifetime. Maybe you've inherited a collection from your parents. Maybe you've got a dusty coin album in the attic. Or maybe, and this is the scary part, maybe you tossed one of these into a vending machine last week. Don't do that again. Check every penny from 1954 with a D mint mark. Look for strong detail, clean surface, and any doubling on the date or letters. If it looks promising, get it graded by a professional coin service. Because that little disc of copper could be worth a new home, a luxury car, or even early retirement. And remember, the coin market isn't just about collectors anymore. It's about investors, dealers, and even celebrities hunting for tangible assets with skyrocketing value. You could be sitting on a literal piece of American history that doubles as a financial game changer. And here's a cliffhanger for you. There's another Lincoln penny, also from the 1950s, that's valued even higher than the 1954 D, but almost nobody knows about it. Want to know what it is? Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because in the next video, I'll reveal the one coin that's quietly making millionaires while the rest of the world sleeps on it. This isn't just about coins, it's about freedom, it's about legacy. It's about finding wealth in places others ignore. You just might hold the next $854,000 in the palm of your hand. Don't miss it. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe in your late uncle's garage or your own basement. And there it is, a dusty little copper coin. 1 cent looks worthless at first glance. But what if I told you that 1 penny could be worth over $853,000? Yes, you heard that right. One single 1953 D mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth nearly $1 million today. And most Americans have no idea. Now, before you go tossing your change jar or selling coins for peanuts, let's take a deep breath. This video could be the difference between losing a fortune and discovering one. So stick with me, because in the next 10 minutes we'll uncover the mystery behind this rare 1953 D penny, what makes it so valuable, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to sell it for what it's truly worth. And hey, if your heart just skipped a beat thinking you might have won, good. That means you're exactly where you need to be. Let's dive in. What makes this penny worth a fortune? Let's rewind the clock to 1953. Dwight D. Eisenhower had just stepped into the White House. Post-World War II America was booming. And the Denver Mint? Quietly producing millions of Lincoln cents, one of them, or maybe just a few, would later become some of the rarest coins in circulation. But why this coin? Here's where it gets fascinating. While over 700 million 1953 Lincoln cents were struck, only a handful were minted with critical errors that slipped through quality control. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and in some cases, incredibly rare copper variations with high-luster red finishes that are nearly impossible to find today. Picture this, a regular penny made of mostly copper, but one that exhibits razor-sharp details in Lincoln's bust, extremely strong strike lines around the wheat stalks, and a deep red shimmer untouched by time. At a mint state grading of MS67 or above, and you've got a coin that collectors would fight over at elite auctions. And guess what? One such 1953 penny sold for $853,000.
No gimmicks.
No exaggeration. Here's a question. How many of us have sorted through our change and dismissed an old coin just because it looked normal? If I had $1 for every penny I've tossed without checking, I'd, well, maybe not be a millionaire, but definitely be missing out on one. What collectors are really hunting for: full original luster with brilliant red toning, no contact marks on Lincoln's face, or Code perfect strike, with clean lines around Liberty, and the 1953 date, and most importantly, a high PCGS or NGC certified grade, ideally MS66 or better. And here's your pattern interrupt. Don't go cleaning your penny to make it look better. That's the #1 way to destroy its value. A cleaned penny loses its original surface, making it almost worthless to serious buyers. Yes, in the coin world, even soap can be deadly. How to sell it for the right price? So you think you might have the 1953 gem. First, don't panic sell on eBay for $20. It's a coin, not a clearance item. Take it to a reputable coin grading company. PCGS or NGC are your best bets. A certified grade is the golden ticket to serious value. Avoid local pawn shops or unverified buyers who wave a quick 100 in your face. They know what it's worth. You should too. Look into auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. These are where high-net-worth collectors spend real money. And trust me, these people are hungry for high-grade wheat pennies. Now here's a thought. What would you do if you suddenly had $853,000 in your hands? Would you retire early? Pay off your home? Take that dream trip to Italy? Or maybe, just maybe, you'd go on a treasure hunt for the next rare coin hiding in plain sight. Because here's the kicker, the 1953 penny isn't the only one. There are others, older, rarer, some even more valuable. And in upcoming videos, we're diving into those exact treasures, some sitting in pockets and jars across America as we speak. Don't miss what's coming. So now you know. A simple penny, forgotten in time, could unlock a whole new chapter of your life. But only if you know what to look for and what to do when you find it. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe now and hit that notification bell. We've got more valuable coin stories coming that could change everything you thought you knew about loose change. Because in this world, it's not always about how much money you have, but how much value you're holding without even realizing it. What if I told you that a small copper coin sitting unnoticed in your kitchen drawer could make you over $852,000 richer? No, this isn't a fantasy. It's real. And it all starts with one penny. A 1952 Lincoln Memorial cent with a small D mint mark. You may have spent one of these at the gas station years ago. Or maybe you tossed it into a jar labeled spare change and forgot about it. But here's the cold truth: thousands of Americans have unknowingly spent this fortune in disguise. And some people are literally sitting on a gold mine without a clue. So the big question is, do you have the $1 million penny? Let's find out. The history of the 1952 penny. Let's go back to the year 1952. Harry S. Truman was president, the U.S. was just emerging from World War II, and the penny was more than pocket change. It was patriotism in copper form. The Lincoln cent had already become iconic. But the Denver Mint's 1952 batch? That's where the real story begins. Roughly 746 million pennies were struck with the D Mint mark that year. But only a microscopic handful have the rare traits that turn them into 6 and even seven-figure collectors' dreams. Now, you might ask, if hundreds of millions were made, why are only a few worth a fortune? Well, let me explain. What makes this coin so valuable? It comes down to three things: condition, error, and timing. First, condition. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have awarded exceptionally rare coins with a mint state, MS67 and above, rating, which means they're in near-perfect condition. Imagine a 70-year-old coin that looks untouched. That alone drives massive value. Then we've got errors. Some 1952 pennies were struck off-center. Others have double dies, where Lincoln's profile or date appears doubled, like a ghost image, and the ultra-rare repunched mint mark, where the D was struck twice by accident. These variations have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Now here's a question for you. Have you ever looked closely at the date on your pennies? Like, really looked? Because that tiny mint mark could be hiding a story worth nearly $1 million. Real sales, real people, real profits. Earlier this year, a 1952 penny in pristine MS68 red condition sold for $852,000 at auction. Let that sink in. 0.1 cents sold for more than most people's homes. Even a lower-graded one with a strong die error sold for over $120,000. This isn't collector fantasy. This is real money changing hands. People who once thought, it's just a penny, are now upgrading their lives, paying off mortgages, buying investment properties, or finally taking that retirement road trip. And it gets better. Most of these coins were found by regular folks. Not dealers. Not historians. Everyday people like you. Pattern interrupt, quick laugh to reset. And by the way, if you just paused this video to grab your piggy bank, congratulations. You're already smarter than 90% of people watching. But stay with me, because you need to know exactly what to look for before cashing in. How to identify your penny's true worth. Here's what to do right now. Step 1. Grab your pennies. Search for the 1952 date with the D mint mark, usually located just beneath the date. Step 2. Inspect for signs of rarity. Is it a bright copper red or a dull brown? Red means higher value. Is the mint mark slightly off or doubled? That's a major signal. Any visible doubling on Lincoln's face, text, or numbers? That could be a double die, jackpot territory. And step 3. Get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade, which can skyrocket your value instantly. Cliffhanger: the treasure is still out there. Here's the wild part. Experts believe over 95% of the rare 1952 D Lincoln pennies are still undiscovered. Sitting in change jars, hidden in dresser drawers, or dropped between couch cushions. And there's no reason one of those can't be yours. You might be one penny away from never working another day in your life. But only if you check. Emotional close vision for the viewer's life. Imagine this. You walk into a coin shop with a 1952 penny. The expert gasps. You walk out $800,000 richer. Suddenly, your debts disappear. Your dream home? Paid for. That vacation in Tuscany? Booked. You didn't win the lottery, you simply paid attention. The final push, call to action. So here's what I want you to do. Hit the like button if you've ever held a penny. Subscribe to this channel if you believe your change could change your life. And most importantly, check your pennies. Today, the $1 million coin is still out there. And someone is going to find it. Why not you? This isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming forgotten value and building a future that starts with something as small as 1 cent, because sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest treasures.